Alrighty, I think we are live 11:01 on a Thursday. Kind of want to do, I think I got to do backwards. We're live on a Thursday. Let's make sure that everything is coming up fine. We've got YouTube up. TikTok is not on yet. Twitch is up. We have not been going to Kick. Let's turn Kick on for today and see if that comes online. Let's see if that fires up that stream. We'll check that. Yep, it did. And now let's bring on the TikTok fire hose. Let's switch this back to topic, fitness and sports. Ship it. We are now live on TikTok. Got about a couple minutes going there. Lucas, what's going on, man? How are you doing today? First one in on Twitch that I see. Or first one to chat. We may have some people who don't normally chat that join. Lil Rob, what's going on? Lil Rob with a question on Twitch. Pick two for me, please. Woody, Ken Walker, or ETN. I think I'm ETN and Ken Walker. Blake Powley, what's up on YouTube? How are you guys today? I've got Arctic Vibe Celsius. No bubblers. Jose, who do you have for tonight, Thursday, between Buffalo and the Texans? I think we most people are going to be on Buffalo. Watermelon trade, London for Waddle. I think you can get a little bit more. So we dropped a video today. Let me put a little bit of balm on. Keep the hands moisturized. Working with the mouse. What was someone was saying? Trade London for Waddle. I just realized the browser's empty. We dropped a video today on YouTube. Drake London trade values. So we've updated the page. It now shows all the starts and sits and ranks. So if you're looking for questions about specific positions, you can do that in the start, sits, and ranks. If you're looking for Drake London talk, we did a longer video on that one. Drake London for Waddle. I think the short version watermelon, you could possibly get more. There you go. You had one accepted London for Justin Jefferson, but it got vetoed. How? Which direction? Which side did people think was getting the better side? That one I don't understand. Is this AJNA? AJ, I don't know if that's a first name. It doesn't look like Anya, like ANJA. With the question, thank you for the question. Oh, no question. Just saying, what's up? What is going on? B Drizzle, does Jerry Jeudy go up in value or does he get worse? I mean, there's definitely room for him to get worse. I have him this week ranked at 35. I like the matchup is really what it is, but I'm still not confident in the matchup. So let's talk about that a little bit more. Week 12, the Browns play the Raiders. You can throw on the Raiders. Well, let's rephrase that. I just said you can throw on the Raiders. Maybe not you, not me. Maybe not the Browns. Most teams can throw on the Raiders, but can Shador throw on the Raiders? I don't know. So that's why I've got him at 35. Like there's a chance it works. There's a lot of changes. If you're just looking for potential value risers, maybe I need to do a video on this. Like they just switched to Shador Sanders. We could see things look different. This offense could look different. How he reads the defense and how he favors different players. Would I trade Trevion for Ando Dunze for Bijan? What's your outlook on Bijan rest of season from, I mean, let's just call you, I'm just going to say Anya unless I get a name because I don't know how to read AJNPOL. So I'll just say Anya knowing it's not right. What's the outlook on Bijan rest of season? It's definitely worse. It's definitely worse would be my guess. If I have to pick, is the next 6 games worse than the last 6? I would say, yeah. How much worse? Probably not. It's AJ. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, AJ. That also makes way more sense. I knew I was wrong, but I figured if I confidently said something wrong, you would correct me. What's your opinion on Bijan? Like, it's definitely down. Probably still top 5 on running backs. If we look at recent trades and rankings based on those trades, if we just look at running backs, So that if I'm ever looking at redraft rankings here, these are not my rankings. These are rankings inferred from real trades. So fantasycalc.com will use their trade calculator. It's all based on real trades that are happening. And then they try to use math to determine a point value for each player based on how they're being traded. It still has Bijan at 4. I might go Achane over Bijan, but I don't know that I'm going to put Saquon ahead of him. I still like him quite a bit. Jose, I also got Nico Collins as my wide receiver 1. Who should I start between Smith, Tet, and T. Higgins? Jose, we've got the ranks for that one. If it's just wide receivers. Oh, and hey, pal, should I trade Rice and Kelsey for Achane? That doesn't seem crazy. That doesn't seem crazy. I think that's fine. Fund it. My friend lost London, and I was going to offer him Rashid and Mooney for Chase. I'm torn on getting rid of Rice. If you can make it through the week without Jamar Chase, like Chase is better. I think most people just looking at ranks would have Chase still at 3, Rice at 6. Like Chase, I would confidently want Jamar Chase. You could also, with that guy losing Drake London, offer him the same type of idea, just lower down the totem pole. You know, maybe you have Devonta Smith and you come away with Devontae Adams. Obviously, I'm just picking players, but saying try to send him someone that's playing now for a better player or a better situation. Maybe it's just because Chase is on bye or Chase is suspended that you're doing that. Luka Boo, would you rather play Brees Hall, Booty, or Watson at the flex? Probably Brees Hall for me. Blake, concerns with Puka usage with the new 13 personnel formation. They've been using more, playing with him with less snaps, trying to shop a little while he's still ranked wide receiver 1. That's the thing about selling someone as wide receiver 1. Even if you're wrong about the usage, as long as you get the right value, you come out fine. So even if you take a player and you say, hey, I don't really like what I'm seeing with Puka Nacua, I'm going to shop him because they're changing up the personnel groups. It's not going to him as much as I want. He's at the top. He hasn't taken any value dips. So if you think it'll go down and you move him at this value, you're just taking value here and moving it here. It's not leaving your team. Like if you sent Puka and you got JSN or you got Jonathan Taylor, like you're not losing the value. You're just moving it for something you think could happen. Let's see. We got, who was that? Lucian with the hand hearts. Thank you very much. We got Alex the mod in the chat doing some policing. Caleb with the roses. Lucian says made 2 trades, Justin and Jennings for Jamar, and then Saquon for Achane. I like both of those deals. All right, I don't want to fall behind today. So we left with Blake, Low Rob, Roma Dunze over Ken Walker this week. I think so. I would be. Unreal JD saying, hello, what's going on? Walker Scoot, I have Christian McCaffrey, Henry, and Rico for running back. Would you cross over from Rico to Nico to gain some wide receiver depth for upcoming big bye week? Yeah. Yeah, that is the crossover. That's one of the most common ones that I've seen in the trade database when looking at names that end in co would be Ricos for Nicos. Let's see if we can find any. Even just limit it down to 2 assets in the trade. Rico Dowdle. He is most commonly traded for. Looks like I'm not seeing it. Emeka Ibuka, who's right in that same range of Nico. Rico for Nico right here. But that was 11-14. So almost a week ago. But I don't think their values have really changed. Rico for Nico on the 15th. Maybe those are the ones that I was seeing from a couple days ago. I think that value crossover is okay. Skednot. Oh, we're almost to Skednot. We got V2 Riffy. Should I drop Manungai for a wide receiver? I'm 7-4. The 1 seed is 8-3, but I'm already in the playoffs. You have Franklin. Like, should you drop Manungai for a wide receiver? Is he ever getting into your lineup? I feel a wide receiver. We're really just looking. I wouldn't do it positionally. I would say just based on who could become, well, we're now getting past trade deadlines. So who could become a starter for you? Like it could be Manungai. But if there's a wide receiver like that, someone that could be shooting up in value, like Jerry Jeudy or something like that, or maybe a Parker Washington, like we would be, I could make that type of swap, but they're all kind of the same. Scad not need QB coverage with Herbert on bye. I'm leaning Young against the 49ers because Brissett had that big game. I wouldn't look at what Brissett did against the 49ers as repeatable for a different team. Do I think Bryce Young is looking okay and could throw on the 49ers? Like, yeah, they're very injured. Do you take Brissett against the Jags? They just held Herbert to less than 5 points. That could also be something to take in consideration. I don't know that the Jags are world beaters, and when we see games like that where a team wins 35-6, you do kind of scrap a lot of that. Like the same team that let the same Broncos coaches that let the Dolphins score 70 points, like they got much better that year. And they're much better now. They're one of the best defenses. They've added some more players. It's not the same exact team, but when we get these blowouts, it's not the teams change. They get better week to week. I probably would be leaning towards Bryce Young there over Brissett. If you're just looking for desperation, Brissett's okay as well. Like they're kind of getting coin flipped here, but Brissett is not good. What he's doing is not because he's an amazing talent. He's kind of just throwing himself into a losing situation where his team is down 2 scores because of him and then passing his way out of it, but not really. Like they're losing by 20 points in these games. Final score of the Cardinals game, 41-22. Like that's when you're looking for garbage time. And I don't really fish for garbage time very much. Week 10, what was the final score? 44-22. Like these are not, it's happened twice in a row, but I'm not predicting it to happen a third time in a row. And even if it does, it won't really be happening for me. I don't like to chase that much. Skednod, it was only week 12. Yep. Watermelon trade London and Chase Brown for Adams and Waddle. I think you can get you should, I don't know why that original trade got declined. But you were saying London for Waddle before and then Chase Brown for Devontae Adams. That does make the Waddle side better, or this situation one better. AJ says that's what I was thinking too, but is Travion and Odunze worth giving up? We don't know the future. There's times where it's okay if both teams win a trade. Like you get the bench spot, you move off of Travion and Odunze, and you get a much better player with a bench spot, and then they come out looking ahead with Travion and Odunze. Like that's okay. We don't have to win every single trade. If you do enough trades 2 for 1, you will just come out ahead usually, and other people can win at the same time. Lil Rob, we got that one. Novel Thunder, I got Pearsall, Watson. Who should I start? You need the points because you play Jonathan Taylor. If you just need, if you want to shoot for the highest ceiling, it would be Christian Watson. We've got ranks on YouTube as well, Novel Thunder. If your question is just all wide receivers, we're going to try to push more people towards just checking the ranks so that we don't fall behind on questions. Like Perry, trade Hurts for Goff. No. I mean, trade Hurts for Goff just straight up? No. But you're saying you want to make the stack? Like there's a trade that makes sense. But I don't heavily chase a stack. If you get a winning trade, moving Hurts for Goff and getting something very big on the other side, sure. Hit heads, trade Javonte Flowers, Sutton, receive Amon-Ra. Sure. Yeah, ship it. Let's get those bench spots. DK didn't make the lineup this week. Your lineup, Andrew? No DK Metcalf for you? Alex says, fun fact, I can't pin comments on the PC, only when I'm on my phone. Oh. Well, with that said, a lot of the way that this works on the back end for people on TikTok is I have a friend, Alex, who is in the chat and will pin a lot of the questions. TikTok does let me try to filter messages, but if it has determined one of the ones that we just read from Perry about Hurts. Like Perry sent that message 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. It just fills every single feed here. There's not that many options. The best chance to get your message read will end up being on Twitch and on YouTube, where we have covered, I think we've covered everything so far, with the exception we're 7 minutes behind. So where I left off, we still have some coming, like George C with a bunch of questions. We see you, George. Wyatt, we see you. If I haven't read your name right now, we will get to it. We covered Skednut, we covered Watermelon, AJ, we got that one. Novel Thunder, we covered it. We're on George, 3-8, fighting for a playoff spot. I like to see it. That's what you want to hear. Going down swinging. You paid for the year. It hasn't gone your way yet. It still can't. You can get in at 6 and 8 in some leagues. Fighting for a playoff spot, have a few questions. I have Dart and Caleb Williams. Do I drop Caleb for Purdy or just roll with Dart? Try to ship one of them. Try to ship one or all of them, George. If you're trying to get as much value onto your team. So if Brissett is available, if there's a decent waiver wire option, if I'm 3 and 8, I want to be selling every single thing that I can in 2-for-1, 3-for-2 trades to get as many players that are startable onto my team, and then I fill in the rest with high upside waiver guys. So do you just drop Caleb? No, you got to be shipping these out. If I have a team that's 3 and 8 and I'm still going for it, I'm sending out 30 offers at least for all of these guys. Defense you have is New England, but they've been really disappointing. Do I drop them for the Steelers, Jags, Bills? Yeah, you could check out the Bills tonight. Then do I go Alec Pierce or Pearsall? I would go with Pearsall or Pierce, slightly ahead of Pearsall. Let's see, Dez on iPad. What's going on? Would you do Lamar, Henderson, and Juwan? Juwan is probably Juwan Jennings. Would I send Lamar, Trevion Henderson, and Juwan Jennings for Jonathan Taylor? Yeah, I could. Especially if you have a really good second quarterback. Like, let's get rid of Lamar. Let's just roll with one and get as much stuff into our lineup. We want the best playoff lineup we can have. There's no buys, and we don't need to worry that much about injuries because no one's on bye. So it's easy to find deeper options. Have I heard any news on Benson or Bucky? Need one to pull through. And we also just got hat and mustache coming from Evan. Scuba Steve sending 10. Cat, you're awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, Evan, for the hat and mustache. I see your message, Evan. We will get to that one right after this one here. Silly Feet 2. Have you heard any news on Benson or Bucky? Let's switch to not really. Just that he would practice yesterday. Bucky Irving shoulder foot practices Thursday from 9 minutes ago. We don't know how much work he'll get in. They will. So here's the really good blurb. Really short, really informative. Bucky Irving practiced on Thursday. We won't know how much he practiced until later today when teams release a practice report. They'll list him as limited, they'll list him as full participant, and then they'll update if he's questionable or doubtful. So if he's a full participant, he's going. If he's limited, then we check again tomorrow, and it seems like he's on track. Evan says, I'm trying to trade for a wide receiver. Would it be better to trade Kyren or Javonte for Ibuka? I mean, do you have both offered to you, Evan? We covered this one in a video. It's on TikTok. It's on YouTube now as well. A short, just this concept. Who do I trade? Where was it? Here it is. Who do I trade? It's the question you have. Would it be better to trade one of these guys? A lot of the times when people are asking that question, they don't have a real offer. So don't limit yourself. Which one can you get? Can you get both of those deals? If you can, I prefer Kyren. Let's see. Andy, can't find Drake London stuff on YouTube. It's right here. Drake, trade values. Drake London and more fantasy trade values. That one's right there. Under the, it's not a YouTube short. Let's go with this. Okay, we covered Desi on iPad. Blake, I'd get that Steelers defense, good playoff schedule too. Yeah. Okay, Evan, you do have both of them, Matt. You do actually have both of them offered. Nice. Which one would I rather keep? I like Kyren Williams. I might end up being wrong, but I have them kind of coin flippy. And there are times where I'll just look at both players and say, I don't know which one is going to be better. This is the one I like. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, it's okay because the trade is still a pretty decent trade. I'm not going to come back and evaluate, well, I sent the wrong guy. Either one is a solid trade. Where are we? Unhandy Gecko saying, yo, welcome in. George C need to go 3-0 the next 3 weeks, and they have Buffalo next week, then Baltimore. You could swap defenses too. Scuba Steve, Drake, and Hampton to get Jamar Chase. Trade Calc says it makes sense, but doesn't feel viable. Both pieces are uncertain. You're just saying what I would have thought. Would I send Drake London and Hampton to get Jamar Chase? mean, you don't have either option. You have none of these players for this week. So it's not like stuff changes that much. It could end up being Hampton fills in and does really well. I don't recall exactly how many other running backs you have, but that could be a difference maker. If we want to send a, take on a little bit of risk of not having a running back and then remove risk of Drake London just by having Jamar Chase. Like, I think Jamar Chase is going to be very good the rest of the season. We don't know that for sure with Drake London. That this one's not crazy. I know you're out there checking out trades for a lot of other options as well. So we can stack those against this one. Desi on iPad, would you do Lamar Henderson? Yep, we covered that one. Gecko, as a Travis Etienne owner, I have genuine concern about Tootin's involvement last week. Before it was a blowout and before he was injured, your thoughts? I don't know that it's changed that much. Maybe I'm going to be wrong on this. We're just going to look. My thought was that it's been split all year. Like that, this is very similar to DeAndre Swift. Yeah. This is very similar to what we have with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monungai. Swift has 1 week of 80% snaps. I know I'm looking at ETN. And then every other week is high 50s, low 60s. And that's the same number that we're getting with Travis Etienne. Getting high 50s, low 60s. He's not going to be running back 3 again. He's been RB3 on the year. That's not what we want him to be. I mean, we would like him to be that this year, but he's going to be an RB2. Right now, he's running back 12. He'll probably finish the year 16 or better, 18 or better. And that's what he's being valued at. So this value feels fine. As long as people are just worried about Bashal Tootin and that's keeping Travis Etienne's value down, like he has been very solid. And Tootin has been getting 30 to 40% of the touches in general all year. Jay Bureau send Hollins a 26th third for Dobbins, rebuilding and wonder thoughts on Dobbins. I mean, a third and Hollins is fine for J.K. Dobbins. There's a good chance that he resigns or that he signs somewhere next year and is still okay. But this has been every single year of his career. I don't think he's ever played a full season. I don't know that he's ever not ended a season on IR. So his value is going to stay low, and then we'll get to the season next year, and he'll be solid wherever he ends up being. Damn Dirty Grape, thank you for the follow. Is that a family name, DDG? Hukala. That's a really cool name with the follow. Kirk. Is that Kirk? Kaburk, Hannah. Thank you. They asked AJ for Brees Hall. AJ Brown for Brees Hall. I think that's fine. Damn Dirty Grape trade Dowdle for Ibuka. Sure. I've seen Dowdle for Nico Collins. I would have Nico and Ibuka very close to each other. Good show, Gilly. Good show, Gilly on Twitch with a follow. Nurse Waz with a follow. Legit Poncho. Desi on iPad with the follows. Thank you, guys. Where are we? Okay, Sked not saying thank you for the insight as always. Thank you, guys. If I don't think I thank the question askers enough. But Watermelon shouts in all caps, AJ Brown. Thank you, Watermelon. Novel Thunder, Hall, Swift, or Williams, pick 2. Williams and Swift for me. Gavin Trueblood, PPR, Judkins or Michael Wilson. I would go Judkins. Camden start Michael Wilson instead of Odunze this week with Marv out. I wouldn't. It might work, but it's not something I personally would do. Legit Poncho, first time chatter says, need some tips. We'll get to them. Blake Powley, Jalen Hurts, best games are coming. Great schedule coming. Hey, I hope so too. Legit Poncho, I think first timer here. Can you try to just put it in one? I do my best to remember trades and teams, but it's all becomes a blur. It could be the next thing down, and I won't remember it. So is receiving Saquon Barkley and Matthew Stafford, but giving up Josh Allen a good or bad trade? I like getting Barkley and Stafford. Ian Lynch, do I trade Trevion for Bowers and ETN? Yes. Yeah. If I could trade Trevion Henderson and get Brock Bowers and Travis Etienne, I would do that. Mason Steele, start Emmanuel Wilson or Kareem Hunt. I think, is Pacheco coming back? Some of these ones, like, we don't know. We don't know the answer. Emmanuel Wilson, because the answer is based on what's going on with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs could practice Thursday as of 23 minutes ago. I think you'll find we're 26 minutes in. If people watch this for a while, we'll end up going 3 hours. A lot of people are going to ask, do I start Emmanuel Wilson? The answer is like, we don't know. We just don't know. If he plays, yeah, we're probably starting him, but probably not. Logan, start Marks or Pearsall at the flex. I think I'm going Ricky Pearsall there. Ethan Lovejoy. Okay, we got T-Roan, then Ethan Lovejoy. T-Roan currently have Dart with Flacco as a backup. Someone just dropped Bo Nix. Should I put in a claim and drop Flacco for him? Yeah. Yeah. You might not even need to this week. You could put in a small claim for him. Who'd you got? You got Dart and Flacco. Yes. I mean, Joe Burrow has been practicing. Let's see what we get for Joe Burrow on practice today. Like, status up in the air for week 12 as of 3 hours ago. Burrow was listed as a full participant at practice Wednesday, took part in 11 and 11 drills. A week or two ago, they were saying he could come back Thanksgiving week, which would be next week. We're hearing his status is up in the air for week 12. They haven't activated him on IR. I think it's if I'm guessing, it's most likely that he's back next week, which would push out Flacco. So yeah, I could drop Flacco for Bo Nix. Ethan Lovejoy, 12-man half PPR, clinch the payoffs. Do I trade Rice, Quentin Johnson, and Michael Wilson for Waddle and London? I don't know that I'm looking to bring in the risk. You're sending like Rice. You get 2 good players, but there's just real risk with London that if I'm going into the playoffs and he's missing games or the games are just bad, like I don't know that I would. It could be a value win, but I would avoid the risk. Logan's, we covered Lucky on Dat Cup. What's up, Lucky? Is that what the correct name? Do we let Travion Henderson ride the bench this week? I got Higgins starting over him at flex. If it's T. Higgins, I probably would put T. Higgins over Travion Henderson, but also like shop him. See what people are willing to give you. Ian Lynn, do I trade Trevion for Bowers and ETN? Ian, that one had just come through as, oh, it was just on YouTube twice. So like the follow-up for Lucky, could you get Bowers and ETN for Trevion? Probably not. Can you get Bowers and something else? Maybe. Also probably not, but see what you can get. Sometimes people have crazy values on players and you just need to ask them to tell you how highly they rate a player. Nurse West, should I trade Devontae Adams for Chase Brown? You have JSN, Ibuka, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, probably. Maybe you end up getting more. I would say, like, if you have that many players, let's just convert it. It's okay if you take a slight value loss if that's going to make your starting lineup way better. Legit Poncho, we covered. Zach, should I drop Shuba Hubbard? Yeah. Also start Goff over Sam Darnold? I think so. Yeah, I've got Goff at 8, Darnold at 14. Texas Tejano's here with the Chili's. What's up, Texas Tejano? Would I start Woody Marks and James Cook tonight? I'm starting James Cook tonight. I know it's a tough matchup against the Texans, but I'm starting him. And then am I going with Woody Marks? I've got Woody at like 29 in the rankings. So if you had like Aaron Jones, Genty, I'm not sure exactly what your team is, Big T. Zach 51 we covered, Nurse Wise we covered, Mason Steele started, Emmanuel Wilson or Kareem Hunt. I think we read that specific one. T-Roan, I currently have the Packers and Rams defense. Someone dropped the Eagles. Should I drop the Packers and Rams for the Eagles rest of season? I'll tell you, I don't do a ton of defense content, and I definitely don't do a ton of future-looking defense content. So I think for the sake of brevity, I'll say, I don't know, and I'll keep moving on. Same thing with kickers. Nurse Waz, we covered Unreal JD. Do I think Rashad White is droppable? Thinking of stashing a tight end for week 14 with Kittle on bye. Yeah, he'll be getting close to droppable. Especially, I mean, you can also wait a couple days. I don't know that you're going to miss on any of these tight ends if you wait until tomorrow afternoon to get running with, to get up to speed with word about Bucky Irving's injury. This says he practiced today. In a couple hours, we'll know more about what that practice situation was. So we could just wait on Rashad White. But yes, he will become droppable very soon. Hutch Gaming. All right, we got 50 Matt saying, "Nurse, stop spamming the comments. He'll get to you." We do get to everything on Twitch and YouTube. The times when it gets harder is just because people spammed a question. We get to everyone. 50 Matt. Oh, that's. Oh, yeah. Here we are. All right, let's say thank you to 50 Matt, who almost got skipped because of Nurse Waz. Start 2 and flex 1. Olave, Odunze, Adams, Ibuka. Ooh, I mean, I might end up just taking Odunze out of that. And I would feel the safest with Olave, Adams, and Ibuka. They're all so close to each other in the rankings. Like I have Odunze at 15, and he's the furthest one down. So it did just also work out that way. Every other guy's ranked higher than 15. Sad Jeffrey, Jettas, Tet, Devontae, and T. Do I bench Jettas this week? I think I'm still putting Justin Jefferson over Tet McMillan. Like, aren't their situations very similar? Tet just had the touchdowns, but we're really worried about Bryce Young in general. Like, he had a great game, but has mostly looked really bad. JJ McCarthy could still have a good game. He has looked bad, but could still have a good game. And I like the talent of Jettas more. So I wouldn't. You can, but I wouldn't. 50 Matt, we got. Sad Jeffers, we got. Okay. Hutch Gaming, pick 2. Brees, Woody Marks, Emmanuel Wilson. Brees and Wilson, based on the health. If you don't feel comfortable waiting for Wilson and don't have someone else, then you got to go Woody Marks tonight. Frank Aguilar. We covered that one, Frank. Evan Walker, London and Waddle for Chase and Metcalf. London and Waddle for Jamar Chase and Metcalf. Yeah, I could do that. Fun dip. I love and hate that I'm never satisfied with my roster. That's the fun. That's the fun. I like it. Ooh, Heart Me coming in from FTC. Fancy text Carlos with the Heart Me. Lugo, is Irving finally playing? This says that he's practicing, and we don't know. We don't know how much he was practicing today. FTC says, would you trade away Pittman for Olave? I think Olave might have an easier playoff schedule. I personally don't do a ton of stuff like that, where I'm just ending 1 for 1. And if you believe that he has a better playoff schedule, go for it. But I don't value that type of move that highly. George, is Burrow going to play? I wish I could tell you. We don't know. We don't know, George. Dev, trade Flowers and Trevion for Genty, Marks, and Sutton. I don't think I am. I don't really want to split those guys. Joey Gidley on YouTube. I was offered A.J. Brown and Montgomery for Kyron and Jennings. You send Kyron Williams and Jawan Jennings, you can get A.J. Brown and Montgomery. And I need the wide receiver help. Do I accept? I mean, you can also take your team. Here's what I'll say, Joey. Like, if you don't like this trade and you're fine with moving Kyron, go offer Kyron to other people. We've done some, I don't remember exactly when we did Kyron Williams on a trade value video, but you could probably get a better deal. That one's not bad, but you can probably just go get another one if you do the work. Most of what makes the difference for winning and losing a fantasy football league is like, are you willing to go drive the trade conversations and get a better deal for Kyron? Because I think you can. Phineas Flynn, trade A.J. Brown and Emmanuel Wilson for Devontae Adams. Yes. Yeah. Yep. We're getting what? 1 to 2 weeks of Emmanuel Wilson. Maybe Josh Jacobs gets hurt again and Wilson is a big value, but I would rather just get Devontae Adams right now. Even if you then take Devontae Adams and trade him for someone else, you could probably just trade Devontae Adams for a better running back and go from A.J. Brown and Emmanuel Wilson to a really good running back. See what's available. Fabian Flores, Bijan Devonta for JSN and Saquon. Yes. Yeah. I would trade Bijan Robinson and Devonta Smith for JSN and Saquon. Mason Steele, Emmanuel Wilson, or Kareem Hunt. It's just going to depend on who's injured or not. Benjamin Shaw, I have to play Tracy Jr. and two-net running back. Do you think you're screwed at the position? At the position, yes. In general, for your team, no. I'm in a league where I have one of the highest scoring teams, and I had to start what's his name? Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt for a long time. I had to start him paired with Trevion Henderson for a long time. And I didn't have to, but that's the way my team was stuck. These guys were not scoring points, but the rest of the team was so stacked that it didn't matter. So if that works for you, like, yes, I don't, but if those are the best guys you have and you don't have a ton around it, could be in trouble. Could be in trouble. But these guys have both gotten touchdowns. They're just not, there's just a lot of other options I would rather start. Legit Poncho is, yeah, we covered this, Poncho. Watermelon correction on my question from earlier. AJ Brown and London for Adams and Waddle. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that. I mean, you know that it could be that London is fine. But if you want to mitigate all risk, sure, yeah. Or just run back the Justin Jefferson trade. Which side did they say the Justin Jefferson trade wasn't favored towards? And can you tweak that? Start Emmanuel Wilson. We covered that. 5-0 Matt. Did we get you, Matt? Yeah, 5-0 Matt. We said we wouldn't do Odunze. Assuming both Pacheco and Jacobs don't play, would I go Hunt or Wilson? I would go Wilson. Diarrhea Patty. Is that a family name, DP? Trade Pickens for Ibuka? I guess. Like, but why? I don't do a ton of moves like that, DP, where it's just, I know my guy's better than your guy. I like trades that have a higher percentage chance of winning. Kyle Singer, pick 2, Aaron Jones, Dobbs, Booty, Godwin, Shakir, full flex, probably Jones and Shakir for me. Ty Smirks on Twitch, Josh Allen tonight or Brissett? Is that a dumb question? It's not a dumb question, but I am confidently starting Josh Allen over Brissett. Does it always work? No. But most of the time, yes. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for most of the time. When you make your start-sit decisions, I'm just trying to get right most of the time. Or just looking at the situations. What happens most of the time? And as Josh Allen is comfortably better than Jacoby Brissett. Brian Troy, you have Henry Kyron. Who do I give up for another wide receiver with London out, benches BTJ? The one that people want, Brian. This is a question I hear this type of question, who do I trade away? And then the other thing I hear a ton is nobody trades in my league. And I think it's because people are looking at their roster going, I don't know who to trade away. Like, offer everyone. Offer all of those guys and see which deal comes back with the best deal. You might be in a league where no one likes Kyron and they're all worried about Blake Corum. Or you're in a league with me where I really like Kyron Williams, but I don't know. And you probably don't know. So go find out. Dad Tommy Boy, Chase Brown or Wilson? Chase Brown. Chase Brown. Avery Anderson, hope you're having a terrific Thursday. I hope you are as well. Michael Wilson or Jerry Jeudy at the flex? I think Michael Wilson. Kyle Singer says, drop it a like and sub, y'all. Hey, thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. I'm not going to turn down likes and subs. Where are we on? I think we're on 1 of 4 on the sub goal for today. We got the 2-day streak going. Jorge, start 2. Rico, Chase Brown, Charbonnet, Gainwell if Warren doesn't play. Charbonnet would be the one out, but I would go Rico and Chase Brown and then very closely Gainwell after Chase Brown. And then Charbonnet would be further down. Zach 1234, should I drop Chuba Hubbard? I think we covered that. Like, yeah, you can drop him and then Gofford Darnold. We covered that one. We just got some repeats. Is AJ Brown a starter this week from Legit Poncho? I think so. Startable. Should be in your flex at the least. Assuming both pitch. Yep, we covered that. We got a lot of repeats, guys. We get to all of them. 10 minutes behind because of the repeats. Fund it. May and Gadsden and Mooney as a throw-in for Josh Allen. I'm worried about Allen's rest of season. I mean, I think Drake May has been fine. So I don't know that I want to add a ton more on top of Drake May to get to Josh Allen. So I think you're okay, especially if you're worried about playoffs. Neori, should I trade away Bijan for Bucky and Jettas? I think so. Trade Pickens for Ibuka, Diarrhea. I think we're fine. Nurse Wise says, apologies for spamming earlier. And then drop 1. Tyler Algier, Sean Tucker, Manungai, Loveland, Kincaid. Probably Manungai or Sean Tucker if Bucky Irving is playing. Jorge, we got to Frank. Is AJ Brown starter? Yes. Christopher North, Brock Bowers, and or George Kittle. I started Bowers last 2 weeks, and obviously Kidd has been much better. No one wanted to trade. Then I've got, how do I have it this week? I have Kittle at 2 and Bowers at 4. Can you trade? I would consistently keep sending out trade offers involving Kittle and Bowers, though. I'll start 2 of these 3. Judkins, Brees, and Marks. I'm going Judkins and Brees. Rome, AJ Brown, and Trevion. Fozzie Barrington with a follow. Thank you, Fozzie Barrington. Where was I? I'll start 2 of these 3. Rome, AJ Brown, or Trevion. Probably Rome and Trevion. Hawes or Terrence Ferguson with the starters out. I don't even know who Hawes is. Is that a deep tight end? Terrence Ferguson's a tight end, and I would probably go with him. Braden Coble, McBride, and Rice for Ferg, Jamar, and Jacobs. Yeah. Maybe. Probably not. It's really close. I would just wait and see what's going on with Josh Jacobs before I make that deal. Or if I'm moving McBride and Rice, I would just see what else is available. Harrison, start 2. Trevion Henderson, Judkins, Emmanuel Wilson. I would stay away from Wilson and go with the other guys. Should I trade for my running back handcuffs from Phil? They're good to have. I'm not really going out of my way to do it. I might add them on in a deal that's already fair and then do some sort of swap like that. But not. They're good to have, but I don't make a big effort for it. VBZB, half PPR got offered Chase Brown, JMO for Pickens. You have JSN, Puka. Running backs are Devon, Judkins, Kamara. Like, yeah, I would take AJ Brown there. Yeah, I would be okay moving that. Manav C, you could also offer Pickens for other people. Like someone offered that to you. You can send Pickens in deals to other people. Jorge, start 2 or Manav. Yeah. Manav C, Jacobs, and Chase. So Jamar Chase for Trevion, Hampton, and Nico or Pickens. Kind of want to keep Pickens for the upside. Which side are you sending? Like, which side do I want? Josh Jacobs or and Jamar Chase? Probably Jacobs and Chase. Yeah, Jacobs and Chase. Who's best to stash? Brian Robinson, or Isaiah Davis? Probably Brian Robinson. Waddle or McConkey rest of season? Teeny tiny edge to Waddle? Who would I lean towards as a flex, Ramondre or Shakir? I would look for Shakir. Nihal, I was reading your comments, but here we go. Where is he reading these comments? Oh, man. We will never read his, unless he goes somewhere else. Abraham Pena, trade Hampton for Kittle. Sure, yeah. We might lose that one, but I think that's fine. Yeah, Tommy Boy, Chase Brown, or Michael Wilson. I'm going Chase Brown. Sad Jeffrey, Woody Marks, or Chase Brown. I'm going Chase Brown. Brad with Herb on bye. Start Bryce Young, Kirk, or Shuck. Ooh, I think I'm going Bryce Young. I'm going with the little guy. Stage horsing. What wide receiver can I get for a Bucky Nico package? Looking to upgrade from Bucky and Nico for the playoff push. We have that as a YouTube video. We get that question quite a bit. Stage horsing. So we have that as a YouTube video. It's under My Ultimate Trade Tips. If you are watching on Twitch, if you're watching on desktop, you can scroll right down on the page and there are links to YouTube. Otherwise, it's the same name, at Boom Bust Fantasy. And then we have this video under My Ultimate Trade Tips. It's the exact thing you're asking for. You have 2 players. You want to upgrade to 1. This is how I build packages and send out trades to get things done. Michael traded AJ Brown and Jones for Rice. AJ Brown and Aaron Jones for Rice and Singletary. I like that deal. Stage horsing. Thank you for the follow. Brad with Herb on by. Yep, we covered that one. Nasser. Good afternoon. What's up, Nasser? VBZB. Full PPR, pick a flex. Watson, Downs, Yoshivas, Aaron Jones, Spears. I think I'm just going Aaron Jones. Fun dip. I traded Nico and Henderson and Sutton for Amon-Ra. I like it. Nico, Travion Henderson, and Cortland Sutton. If it's just getting your lineup better, I like it. We're at the end. There are teams that don't need to win anymore, and just need to win 2 more games after a bye week. So getting Amon-Ra increases your odds there. I'm gonna have C. I'm thinking of Jacobs and Chase for Trevion and Hampton and Nico and Pickens. Kind of want to keep Pickens for the upside. I think I just like, I don't know that Pickens' upside is that much higher than Jamar Chase. Mason Steele start Mooney over Pearsall. I could not. I can understand if you do, but I personally wouldn't. What you doing, lovely Marv and Dak for Drake London? Is that too much of an overpay? I don't think it's an overpay. I don't think that's an overpay. If you have another quarterback, like I think in general, I'll blur the lines on what is or isn't an overpay. If you're sending away a quarterback and you don't have to take one back and you have another one, Drake London is probably better than Marv rest of season. And if I just have to throw Dak on there to do it, that's all right. Ben Hofer with a heart me. Thank you, Ben. Textano with cake slices, roses, heart me's, TikToks, lies. Thank you, Big T. Zach McNeil on TikTok. What do I do with London? I'm trying to move him. Do I try moving him, Waddle, JMO? I'm not sure what the question exactly is, but we have a video on Drake London on YouTube of real trades that are happening for Drake London. It's longer content than the normal TikTok ones because there's a lot more to discuss. And then we have multiple players in that video. So if you're looking for Drake London stuff, we have that on a YouTube vid. Danielle Morana, do I think Drake London only misses one game? I don't know. I don't know. We don't know. We know for sure it's one game. Oops, looks like I need to shut off Discord for just now. I don't want to get distracted there. Let's throw the schedule back up here. Nasser, I got offered DK and Roma Dunze for Justin Jefferson. I'm staying with Justin Jefferson there. Fozzie Barrington, Chase Brown, or Woody. I'm still going with Chase Brown. I know he's in a tough matchup, but I'll take the prospective receptions that he would get to help get him yardage. We got Yushim Simba with a question and a follow. What do I think about Josh Jacobs? I don't know how long the dude is out, if he's out at all. I think he's missing a week. Josh Jacobs could practice Thursday. I could also practice for the Packers on Thursday. It's not likely, but I could. And our gross Jettas and Sutton for Devontae Adams. I think I don't know that I like that one. I feel like it should still be Adams, either just Adams for Sutton or Adams and something for Sutton. But maybe I'm wrong. Or Adams and something for Jettas. So I don't want to add that much on there. Avery Anderson, dude feels robbed. He offered me Bowers and Diggs for Omarion Hampton and Devonta Smith. Then this week starts. He's like, let's trade it back. I don't like what I did. How would you approach this kind of behavior? Just kindness, number one. Like, hey, that is just kind of the way it goes. I've made some trades that I kind of wish that I could have back, but this is just how it's going to stay. And then you ignore the rest of it. Or you just get open to like, I took the trade because I liked this other side more. I'm willing to send players back to you, but I already liked this side more, so I don't want to do it. You can always keep in mind, like if you trade for a player from someone, you can always trade that player back to that other person. It just doesn't happen often. And you like your side more. So you can just treat it as a new trade conversation, but just respect and kindness, but firmness. No, I don't want to trade back the one that we did. It was a fair trade. We both agreed to it. That's just how it goes. There's never any expectation that you have the option to flip it back. But you're open to other things. Henry and Keenan for Jameer. Henry and Keenan Allen for Jameer Gibbs. Yeah. Chris Bliss, what's going on, CB? Mooney or Dobbs this week? Golly. Mooney? Yushi Simba, what do I think about the Josh Jacobs update? Is there another update? I don't think anything here. Nope, that's yesterday. There's no update. BBZB, pick 4 full PPR, CD, AJ Brown, Nico, Rico, Odunze, JMO. I would kick JMO out. How many are there? ED, AJ Brown, Rico, Nico. I mean, I might be fine with those four. CD, AJ Brown, Rico, Nico. Harrison, in my other league, I have Ken Walker, Judkins, and Wilson. Which should I start there? Judkins probably for me, and Ken Walker close behind that. It's Zion, Henry, and yep, we covered that one. Yushim Simba, we covered Phineas Flynn. Oh, we're at the bottom. We're almost at the bottom. Phineas Flynn, trade AJ Brown and Bucky Irving for CeeDee Lamb. Sure. Yeah, actually, yeah, I think I like that. Brendan Martinez, Chase Brown, or injured Josh Jacobs rest of season. That's a good question. Are we making a trade on that? It's likely Josh Jacobs. Josh Allen or May from Izzy for this week. Is this a this week question? Izzy, you got to trade one away. I have Drake May at 1 and Josh Allen at 3, which means you're starting one and a ton of value just goes and burns on your bench. So whichever one you can trade away, Izzy, send that away for one player if you can. Like, let's just pull this up. If you are just saying that you're going to start Drake May going forward, and then you'll fill in his bye week, and you could get Kyron Williams, Devontae Adams into your lineup, James Cook into your lineup. We saw Kyron, Michael Pittman, Jalen Waddle, Saquon Barkley. Like ship Josh Allen for one of those. That's why we try to find breakouts during our fantasy drafts so that we can sell the starters that we traded for better starters and make a better starting lineup. I have Drake May slightly ahead. I mean, you could do the same thing here with Drake May, but you got to ship one away. Phil, who's the better handcuff for Derrick Henry, Mitchell, or Hill? Probably Keaton Mitchell. But I think the question that you're asking kind of calls out that not everyone has a handcuff. So not every player needs to be handcuffed because some teams just don't have a handcuff. They might even just bring someone up from the practice squad to be a power back and then run 3 backs. Nasser, should I do Justin Jefferson for Roma Dunze and Chase Brown? I don't know that I would. I'm still holding Jefferson in a lot of situations. Chris Bliss, hope you're having a great day. I really appreciate all you do to try to help. It helps me, Chris. I will always be transparent. I'll say thank you for every question because this becomes mutually beneficial. Hopefully I'm able to help, but full transparency, it helps me. There are things I do that could be better for the audience that help me, so I don't. Like ranks. Ranks are in a YouTube video because I need YouTube watch hours. Would ranks be better as just a list? Yeah, be faster. But I don't get YouTube watch hours if I just post them as a list. So I will stay transparent, but then also say thank you for people being here, asking questions. This only exists if people ask questions. So it goes both ways, and I am very thankful. I mean, I feel like I sounded kind of crappy there saying the stuff about the ranks. But thank you for all the questions, Chris, and for coming back. Michael T, thank you for coming back. James Cook, Devontae Adams, and Prescott for Drake May and Jamar Chase. Yeah. Although, man, do we need to go from Prescott to Drake May? James Cook to Javonte Adams to Jamar Chase. Like, what makes your playoff lineup better? That one would be really roster specific. If you can plug in another great running back, sure. Like, if we're not taking a running back dip there and we go from Prescott to Drake May, I don't know that gain is that much. Wade, should I trade Tet for Judkins? I think you can. We did one today, fantasy trade values, that has Tet McMillan in there to see what else you could get for Tet, Wade. This one here from today, the one titled Drake London, it's also got Tet in there. Eccentric Phase, would I trade T. Higgins with Burrow possibly coming back? Would I look to trade him away? Not really. My value on T. Higgins doesn't really change with Joe Burrow or Joe Flacco. We also covered T. Higgins. I'm pretty sure it's in this one, Javonte Williams, as the title one. So if you're looking for what you could get for T. Higgins, Eccentric, we've got that one on YouTube. Ponchez, Sanchez, I have Tyler Warren, Ferguson, and Juwan Johnson. Someone offered Jettas or Devontae Adams for Warren. Should I take it? I would. Whichever one of those you like, Ponchez, because you're making your starting lineup better. If you just crunch like 4 it's really just crunching 4 numbers or so. Who's going out of, like, you're going to take Devontae Adams and put someone in at wide receiver. Hopefully they're scoring like, what, 5 or more points than the guy that you're putting at wide receiver. And then you go from Tyler Warren to Ferguson and maybe dip like 2 points in your lineup production. So you gain 5 in one spot and lose 2 in the other, and you come out ahead with 3. That's why I don't want 2 tight ends, or especially 3. You want to, if you can take a tight end and get that into your lineup, or then you take Devontae Adams and pair them with someone else for an even better player, I would want to do that. Gavin, Etienne, or Chase Brown, I'll tell you and let you know the answer on that one. But for a good chunk of those, if it's just running back versus running back, for anyone watching that is having a hard time getting your message covered, running back versus running back, we cover in our ranks. Same thing with wide receiver versus wide receiver and quarterback versus quarterback. As I see them on Twitch and YouTube, I'll read them. But if you want your answer faster, you can pretend like I'm saying your name before I read it in the ranks video. I have ETN at 14, and the other player was Chase Brown, who I have at 17. So a slight edge to ETN. Michael Munoz, am I fine with Jamar, London, Garrett Wilson, and Judy rest of season, or do I try and trade before the deadline? You should always try and trade, Michael, because you're not asking the correct question. Am I fine with Lamar, London, Garrett Wilson, and Judy? Am I fine rest of season is not the correct question. The correct question is like, if I move these guys, could I come out with something better? And you don't know that unless you shop your players around. You can always figure out what your players are worth without having a real trade offer or any sort of risk. Like, just text the league mates. Hey, I'm willing to move these guys. Do any of them interest you? And then pair them with some of your bench guys. I'm sure there is someone out there that loves Jamison Williams, for example, or Jalen Warren or Woody Marks. Like, can you get good value out of those guys in a 2-for-1 trade? I would look to do something like that. Doc Holliday, Nico, or Emeka this week. I have Emeka Buka at 8 and Nico Collins at 6 tonight. They're both really good starts. Ooh, it's Johnny. How are you feeling about Love versus Minnesota? And should Dart be cleared? How do you see him against Detroit? Which of the two would I start? I mean, Detroit has a solid defense. If Dart is cleared, I have him at 12, and I have Jordan Love at 16 against the Vikings. I mean, we could pull up Jordan Love and try to get a gauge of how he does against the Vikings, Brian Flores defense. Did they play yet this year? Not yet this year. They play Minnesota and then Minnesota at the end of the year. So we can just go back to last year. Against Minnesota, 28 points. So decent showing at home against Minnesota. And then in Minnesota, 14 points. So it's going to be somewhere in that range. It is a tough defense that can confuse a quarterback like Jordan Love. I personally would just go Dart for the rushing with a slight edge. It's a very slight edge. I know I gave out numbers, but I don't, they end up being closer. Like, if I like Jackson Dart at 12 and Daniel Jones at 13, they're actually like neck and neck. It's just a teensy tiny edge. Phil, where are we? No, we're at Naheem in a pickle playing versus Kareem Hunt and Saquon, but he's offering me Saquon for Dowdle and Tracy Jr. Should I make the trade and make him better for this week? Like, do you like the trade? You're playing versus Kareem Hunt and Saquon, but he would give you Saquon for Dowdle and Tracy Jr. Like, I'm not even sure I like the deal that much. I might just stay with Saquon. I would evaluate any trade as just, does it make your team better? And if it makes your team better, then I'm good to go. I don't really worry that much against the individual matchups of it or trading against a player I'm up against. Phil, I got offered AJ Brown and Jake Ferguson for Waddle and Ken Walker. You would send Waddle and Ken Walker. Otherwise, you have to start Mason Taylor with Kincaid out. If you feel like you can make it until Kincaid is back, Kincaid's been pretty good, but he's missed a bunch of times. So could I do this move, Waddle and Ken Walker, and get Ferguson and AJ Brown? Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all right. It passes the smell test. Like, it doesn't seem like a bad trade. Luke Hazelton, would you do James Cook for Devontae Adams? I think you could get a little bit more for James Cook. You have Henry and Henderson. I think you could get a little bit more if you're doing that. If you're really looking to grab a wide receiver, it's not a wild trade, but I would expect you could get a teeny tiny bit more. Maybe you can't in your league, but across all leagues, I think people are getting more for James Cook. Like that would be the low end of acceptable. Nameless, think I should flex Pearsall or Parker Washington this week. Whew. Where do I have it? I have them back to back. Parker Washington at 30 and Ricky Pearsall at 31. The Panthers are a tough pass defense, and Parker Washington has had a bit of a role. We don't know what's going on with Brian Thomas Jr., so it's right there. I have a teeny tiny edge to Parker Washington. Sanchez says, thank you. I'll take Adams over Jefferson. I don't believe in McCarthy despite the easy schedule. Okay. I mean, that's the game. We're all just valuing the players differently. Alejandro, I'm trying to trade T. Higgins and Tet for Saquon. Love the content and the product you put out. Thank you, Alejandro. You're trying to trade T. Higgins and Tet for Saquon? That doesn't seem wild. That seems all right. Piojo just got offered Zay for Kyron. I realize Lamar is nursing an ankle injury. Should I reject it and just trust Dobbs as my wide receiver 3? Like, you would get Zay Flowers for Kyron? I think I would just rather have Kyron. Or that you could get a better wide receiver for Kyron. I've definitely talked a lot about Kyron today on trades. Let's just do this. 1 for 1. What is Kyron Williams getting? I mean, this one's absurd. Kyron for Jackson Smith and Jigba, but Kyron for Drake London. Oh, it was because of Drake London. I was talking about Kyron. So people are getting stuff high. I mean, I think Drake London is still ahead of Zay Flowers. Kyron for Ibuka. Kyron for Nico Collins. I like all of those guys over Zay Flowers. Sanchez, would I start Jameson Williams, Judkins, or Jalen Warren if healthy at flex? If Jalen Warren is healthy, I would start him. User920, thank you for the follow on TikTok. They ask, I have CD, JSN, and London. What should I do with London? Your running backs are Christian McCaffrey, Chase Brown. I mean, we have a video on Drake London here. It's going to be team specific of like how much risk you can handle. But if there are people in your league who think Drake London is missing 1 game and then is coming back and will be fine with Kirk Cousins, make a trade. But you got to shop and see if anyone thinks that. Mobbity Dobbity, start Jacoby, Parker Washington, or Algier. I may end up I have Jacoby 1 spot ahead of Parker Washington. So we covered that one in the ranks breakdown. Jacoby Myers, and I referenced it in the ranks video. Jacoby Myers has just been seeing more work with the Jags each week. So it hasn't been amazing. Like week 1 with the Jags, he was playing at Houston. I didn't realize he played against Jacksonville and then got traded to Jacksonville. He played at Houston, which is one of the toughest passing defenses, and he played 44% of the snaps. Then he played the Chargers and played 65% of the snaps. And like normally when he's healthy and on a team that he understands the full offense, he's 90+%. So I think he's going to play more this week. So I have him slightly ahead of Parker Washington. That was for Mawdi Dawdi, and I would have both those guys ahead of Algier. Piojo, nobody wants to trade with me because I'm 9-2 because I've offered Kyron for everyone that's not Zay. Oh no. Then you stay with Kyron. Joe Larson, I got offered Justin Jefferson. You got offered Jefferson for Chase. With Chase being out, I need a win this week. I'm starting Judy in his place. You could also try to do a different trade. You got offered Jefferson for Chase. What I'm reading is someone came to you to solve your problem and you didn't go to everyone else to try to solve the problem. Maybe you did, but like go see what you can get for Jamar Chase. You could probably get more than just Justin Jefferson. Terra RX, start Nico, Kyron, Ibuka, or AJ Brown. You only can start one of those. I think it's Nico Collins at the flex. That sounds like a league I'm not quite familiar with, where you would have that many guys as your flex, but I would go with Nico. Galaxy Pickers, what's up? Start Marks or Judkins? I'm leaning Judkins. Paradox, Fairbairn, or Matt Gay? Oh, I don't know. I don't do any kickers Paradox. The only thing I look at with kickers, and Tara says it's a 4-man. I mean, that's got to be fun. Hopefully like a lot of chatter. between the four of you. Where were we? Paradox. The thing I look at with kickers is like who's inside and who has a very high over-under. So here are the over-unders. We'll leave those on the screen for a little bit. We're looking at them right here, over-under, which is the expected total points scored in the game. So they think that the total points scored between Kansas City and Indianapolis should be 10 more or 9 more than Tennessee at Seattle. Nameless, what's the website you use to see recent actual trades trying to find T. Higgins value? Sure. I'm just leaving this up for a moment because someone was looking at over-unders. It's called fantasycalc.com, and then it will have a trade database on there. I'll have my own next year, my own trade database displaying, hopefully with a slightly cleaner display. But for now, I don't have any problem saying it's fantasycalc, the same way that it's spelled right there, .com, and then you just click trade database. We can also just do T. Higgins. And we covered T. Higgins in one of these videos recently. They all have timestamps, so you can also just open them up and check which players are in there in the description. We'll throw this back up. Diego, should I start Zay Flowers or Emmanuel Wilson at the flex? I think I'm going Zay Flowers. Tyler Woody, start 1. Juwan Jennings, Jordan Addison, Trey Tucker, or Woody Marks? I think I'm Jordan Addison. Tara says, the 4-man, every team is stacked. Do I trust Drake May over Dak? I would take Drake May over Dak this week. Bottoms 132. Should I trade away Hampton and McMillan for CeeDee? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Even if you lose that trade, you still just come out ahead. Getting the 1 player and a 1 bench spot is really valuable. 5'9 Gemini, I have 3 tight end options. Who should I start? Otten, Fant, or Brock Wright? I would go Cade Otten there. Like, I don't know that Brock Wright needs to be rostered. You could probably, I mean, maybe you're thinking of him as an extended bench guy. That's how I think of players. I would just call it extended bench. Like, you can freely pick them up, but you don't need to keep them on your team. No one else will pick them up if you drop them. Jiraiya, are we starting Shavers or Yoshivas this week? Probably Yoshivas. I don't know. I mean, that's probably the best catch and the best week of Shavers' career, unless there's something about him that I don't know. Played multiple years, is getting, I mean, even in a good game, played 54% of the snaps, hasn't cleared 40 before that. Oh, here's 49. No, I was wrong. 49, 40, 47. I think this guy's just in there because Keon Coleman is on discipline. He's gone multiple years without getting into games. This is probably the best game of his career. So I would go with Yoshivas ahead of him. Vince Maldo, Woody Marks, or Ken Walker? I'm leaning Ken Walker on that one, Vince. I'm leaning Ken Walker on that one. I mean, we can obviously be wrong. Ken Walker has been up and down all year. We really don't know what's going on with him and with Charbonnet. We also covered, like here, 35%. Now he's up to 51% of the snaps. It doesn't seem, he got in the end zone, which definitely helps. And 16 rushes was a high for him against the Rams in a game like they needed to move and run a lot of plays. I'm not ready to fall for it again. We also covered Ken Walker in the video today. Drake London, Ken Walker's in there. If you're looking to trade Ken Walker and see what's possible for you, he's in that video. Big Ash, trade Devontae Adams for Josh Jacobs. I'm deep at wide receivers and clinch the playoffs. Yeah. I would check and see like what other running backs are available. Maybe it's only Josh Jacobs because of the potential injury, but I would see what else is out there for Devontae. But yeah, if you're deep at wide receivers and you've clinched the playoffs, you've got the right idea. Let's improve the starting lineup. Craig Lennox, hi there. Which of these running backs should I sit? I have Genty and Judkins or Woody Marks. I'm probably sitting Woody Marks. Cade Miller, what running backs could I get this week for Tet and Hampton? One second, Cade Miller. Nate, the question was Marks or Myers. I think I'm going Myers over Woody Marks. That one was pinned and it was about to fade away. Cade Miller, apologies on that. What running backs could I get this week for Tet and Hampton? That one we just do as the video. If you want to trade away Ted McMillan and Omarion Hampton and come away with a running back for this week, here's how I build my trades. It's under my ultimate trade tips. It's called Steal This Trade Tip to Win Your Fantasy League, but it is just also how I build trades. Okay, Nate resent it. It was Tracy or Myers. I caught it at the end and forgot. I think I'm still Myers. Really, the encouraging thing for me was what I had just pulled up with the usage increasing after joining the new team. Like we see a big usage hit because he got traded midweek. Then playing Arizona, they are a decent defense, but there's so much room for him to be on the field more. So 6, 7, 8, 9 targets is definitely realistic there. And Tracy is still in a split. And the Lions are one of the toughest run defenses. So average fantasy points against, we want our teams to be playing we want our fantasy players to be playing the teams at the top here. For everyone watching, here's something I look at when making ranks. Yahoo Sports offers fantasy points against. This is the average. So on average, running backs that play the Bengals, this could be multiple running backs for a team, hit 31 PPR points. At the bottom is Detroit Lions. In total, they allow about 14 on average. So if it's split between Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary, and it's looking at it like it's going to be somewhere around 14, 15, maybe even 20, and then that's split across two guys, the high end being like 10 points for your players. Obviously, anything can happen, but I would use this as the tiebreaker to go with Jacoby Myers over Tyrone Tracy for a flex. We got Tyler Whitty here, Genty and Jettas for Puka and Charbonnet. I think that can make sense. Getting the best player, you down tier from Genty to Charbonnet, who has been okay, but if that's a flex option for you, or I've just been calling it my like first and second reserve, I'm fine with making my reserves worse if it makes my lineup better at this point in the season. So yeah, I could do that. Keenan, Etienne is doing non-contact reps at practice. Is there a chance he misses this week? If so, would I start Emmanuel Wilson or Tootin? I would start Tootin ahead of Wilson if Etienne missed. But it's just something to monitor. Non-contact reps. Let's get a gauge on that. Just a shoulder. Set to log a second consecutive limited practice. Yeah, it's just saying the same thing. His status will need to be closely monitored. Sean Doherty, do you think Yoshibas is a good pickup for this week, or would I play him over Juwan Jennings? I think I'm going with Juwan Jennings over him. Is he a good pickup? He's a deep shot. And we've seen him get work with T. Higgins missing. So yeah, I would also consider this is just now coming to me, Noah Fant at tight end. We've seen, who was it last year? Why am I blanking? I mean, I don't know why I'm saying why am I blanking on this. There was a tight end last year for Cincinnati that was regularly usable when T. Higgins missed time, because they don't always move targets from wide receiver to lower tier wide receivers. They just move it to tight ends. So I would go with Noah Fant. If anyone can remember the tight end for the Bengals last year, Gesicki, there it is. Thank you. Yeah, Gesicki was usable last year when they were missing a player. So I would say Fant is I would take my shot with Fant. Thank you. I mean, Gilda 65 for knowing Gesicki. They ask trade Genty and London for Saquon. I bet you could get another player back with Saquon on that. Is Nico a better start than Kyron this week as a flex from Tara? I mean, that's what I'd said earlier. I still feel that. Like, do I know the answer? No, I don't know the answer. That's a tough league to be in where it's all start sits. I feel like my roster construction is my strength more than my start sits. Steven, should I start Matt Stafford or Daniel Jones this week? Got Stafford at 6 playing the Bucks, who allow a lot of passing. They allow a pretty good amount of passing. And then Daniel Jones at 13 playing the Chiefs. The Chiefs are not an elite defense like they were during the years when they were winning the Super Bowl. I mean, they were playing in the Super Bowl last year with a very good defense. They're not elite, but they are still good. The Chiefs defense, if we go to any of these things, like if just looking at quarterbacks, they're still a good team against fantasy quarterbacks. Daniel Jones is playing the Chiefs this week. I may have left that out. They are still good against wide receivers. They don't allow a lot of points to quarterbacks. They don't allow a lot of points to wide receivers. They don't allow a lot of their, where are they? Am I crazy? Kansas City, they don't allow a lot of points to running backs. They're pretty good. Like, Tara, what do you think about Jonathan Taylor against the Colts? If you have him, you're starting him. Although with you in a 4-team league, I've met 3 on the week. There are times where just I start my studs. If you have Jonathan Taylor, you got to be starting him. Yoshivaser Butte from 5'9 Gemini. Booty. But we agree. We don't know. I would give a slight edge to Booty, but we don't know. Rudy, Aaron Jones, or Booty? That one I'm going Aaron Jones. Genty for Odunze from Xavier Explains It All. I could. You might end up getting something. You could ask for more than just Odunze with Genty. And it could still be that we're selling low on Genty. Like teams do know. They also look back at what they just did and make changes. So if the Raiders barely tried to run the ball against Dallas on Monday night, like they see that as well. They have the film. They can make changes. Ruby Herrera, do we trust Lamar Jackson this week? If he's out there playing, I trust him. Fozzie Barrington, hold the Texans D or drop someone for Atlanta. I don't play a lot of fantasy defenses. And typically, like, I mean, who are we dropping? Are we dropping Bashal Tootin? Yeah. Are we dropping a handcuff that is probably someone we could then pick right back up again? Yeah. It depends on the player, but there's definitely times where I'll drop someone to hold 2 defenses. Shane Kindred, Watson, or Jerry Jeudy. I think I've got Christian Watson ahead. I've got Watson at 28 and Jerry Jeudy at 35, which is high for Jerry Jeudy. Big Ash, if you make a trade after Thursday night game, the start of the week, does it wait until Monday? I'm going to do the Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs trade, but I feel like Adams is going to explode, and I don't feel like I can wait till after Sunday. I mean, can't you make it today? Why do you have to wait until after the Thursday night game? Ooh, I always open something to drink at the start of these. We're an hour and 20 minutes in, and I don't think I had any of it. I've just been holding it in my hand a lot of the time. Okay, Big Ash says because it will process Monday. Do you want it to process Monday? Am I a lot of the times, Big Ash, I don't know which side of the trade people are getting. So you're sending Devontae Adams and you want him for Sunday. Like then, yeah, probably have to wait until a Thursday for things to start locking or do the deal on Saturday. But really, just ask the commissioner of what's going to happen. And don't be dirty if the other manager doesn't think that's what is about to happen or what should happen. Like just be in agreement. Unspoken Legends, I know I've asked this question before, but the other owner hasn't responded to my trade offer. I want to see if your opinion has changed. You sent Kyron. Hey, it might change. Hopefully I am consistent in what I say. You sent Kyron, Aaron Jones, Ferg, Jennings for Derrick Henry and Purdy. Have I read this one before? I don't think I want you to trade for Derrick Henry and Purdy there. I would want Kyron. I like Derrick Henry. Don't you have Justin Herbert? Maybe you're doing this just for the bye week. Do you have Herbert? I don't remember your exact team, but I feel like we're sending a lot. And you're usually in an 8-team league. So maybe then I changed it and said, go with Derrick Henry. But then Purdy shouldn't be rostered in an 8-team league. Let me know what this is. I feel like I'm trying to solve a riddle here. Shane Kindred, any worried about Josh Allen against the Houston defense? Not sure if Dart will play, so you kind of have to. I've got him at 3 on the week. This is one, like, I do look at my ranks compared to ECR, expert consensus ranks. Just get a gauge of like, hey, have I missed someone? If a player's way out of line with where I have them, is there a news story I've missed? Or or is my, it's hard to keep an accurate perception of every player. So I'll definitely look at the consensus ranks and see like, oh, this player's actually been performing better than I thought. So let's just pull this up because I think everyone has Josh Allen at, not everyone, but I think that here it's rankings, week 12 rankings, quarterback, Josh Allen at 3. I think when I looked at the start of the week, Josh Allen was at 1. I've got him at 3. I actually have the same top 3, same top 4. Do I have the same top 4? Jalen Hurts at 4. Yeah, but then I have Prescott at 5. So I would be starting Josh Allen. I think a lot of places you go would tell you to start Josh Allen ahead of Jackson Dart. Really just trying to say that, like, I'm not the only one saying Allen over Dart. Big Ash, that's about the process. Tara, do I trade CD and try to get a more consistent receiver? I'm worried about his targets with Pickens. I personally wouldn't, but I'm like, once we're getting into more obscure leagues, my brain can't convert to what values should be, Tara. So I wouldn't be able to even tell you good trade values for a 4-team league. Dave B, I have Mahomes as my QB1. Should I trade Dart for fantasy playoffs? Guy who has Dart is in last. Should I trade for Dart for the fantasy playoffs? I wouldn't. Unless you're sending Mahomes, like sending Mahomes, getting a really great running back, a receiver, and Dart, then I would, but not, I don't want to bring on another quarterback to play the matchups. Mahomes is pretty solid. Shane Kindred, you just said you said just start Monange if I have to. Yeah, like he's got a shot at the end zone. That's really what we're looking at. I don't remember the exact details, but let's just pull up Monangai for everyone. Like if you're in a situation where you are questioning Kyle Monangai and if you should be starting him, he had one big week as a starter, and then everything else since then, like becoming, he's a rookie player. He goes through some development. I think we're into a norm of 40-ish% snaps with a reasonable chance at hitting the end zone. A good week would be double-digit touches, but it could be under 10, somewhere between 5 and 10, and a shot at the end zone and maybe one catch. So 10 points, that's reasonable. On a slower day against the Giants, 7 carries, but he finds the end zone. Like, that's what you're hoping for. We're not hoping for him to win the week for you, just to not be a crater, but he also can be. Here's 2 points against Baltimore. I would start him over Chuba Hubbard. EAVR Domainite. What app do you answer questions on? We favor Twitch and YouTube in line. So any question asked on Twitch or on YouTube do get fed into the same chat in real time. So Denton asked a question before Postman. So we try to go in that order. Both of those were before yours. You wouldn't see Postman, but you would see Denton. And then when we get to the bottom of that, we jump to TikTok chat. We also jump to TikTok chat as followers join, gifting happens, things like that. And I'll be transparent on that. It's just because YouTube and Twitch help me more. So where were we? I think we got Dinballs, Joser, Tara. Here we are. Dave B. I have Mahomes. Nope, that's the one we just got to. Then we got to I have a red tight. Should I be confident in starting Bucky Irving this week? I mean, as of this hour, no. But if they say that he's starting, yes. If he's playing, I'm starting him. Shane Kindred says start Monangai if I have to. Yeah, I think it's fine. Steven, do I start McMillan or Adams as my flex? I would start Devontae Adams. I have Puka and Rashee Rice. Like I would start Devontae Adams and then pair McMillan with someone else. Or if you can't move McMillan in a trade Devontae Adams to get in up tier and then start McMillan. Dinballs, Bucky Irving or Michael Wilson to start. I'm going Bucky Irving. Big Joser, need help with my flex because I'm in a rough spot. Do I start Dortch, Barner, Higgins, or Tez Johnson? I think I'm Tez Johnson. On that. Yoshi, should I trade Addison or Alec Pierce in a package with Knicks for Jalen Hurts? Basically, who's better to keep, Addison or Pierce? Probably Addison's better to keep, but I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't make that big of a difference of it. Either one. The trade on its own is just very good. Doing the up tier so that it's not going to make a massive difference. Denton, would you take Javonte for Pickens and Aaron Jones? Jones doesn't start non-PPR. I mean, Jones does start. But would I take Javonte for Pickens and Aaron Jones? Sure. Yeah, I can. Bean with the follow. Apex with the follow. Ayavera Dimana. I don't know how to say your name, but thank you for the follow. Postman, trade Dowdle for Pickens. I'm stacked at running back and dealing with London out, then worried for the rest of the season. Yeah, we also saw Dowdle for Nico Collins. Happened quite a bit. Lou Cod, what's up? Good morning. Where do you rank Ted McMillan rest of season? He's a solid wide receiver 2. Look, here are just some of the people on the week as wide receiver 2s to give you a gauge. Like I have Stephon Diggs, Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf, Zay Flowers, Juwan Jennings, Ted McMillan. In that range. In other weeks, he'll be higher. I don't love him against the Falcons, who have been okay on defense. But he'll be in that range, like a flex or a wide receiver 2. Ted Cruz ain't my son. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, Ted Cruz and your son. Well, I don't have a son. Start DK Metcalf for Michael Wilson. I'm starting DK Metcalf. I don't want to chase what happened with Michael Wilson. Steven, I think we covered that one. Tara Yoshi. Dak and Marv for Drake London. Oh yeah, what you doing, lovely? I'm fine with that trade. Sending Marv for Drake London. We covered it a bit. I just like Drake London more than Marv. They're both out this week, and for the rest of the season, I still like Drake London ahead of Marv. If you couldn't get more for Dak in a different trade somewhere else, like I'm fine with doing that. Especially if you have another quarterback, and I think you said you did. Smell like SH, Sutton, Chase Brown. Sutton and Chase Brown for Pickens and Kamara. Sutton and Chase Brown for Pickens and Kamara. I think I'm staying Sutton and Chase Brown. I think I am. It's really close. Like if you wanted to do that, I wouldn't think it was crazy. I would just call it like, yeah, that's a good trade. I would give the slight edge to one side, but you could definitely make that deal. Unspoken Legends. All right, long one. You do have Herbert. I think Henry has a better chance of hitting yards with his upcoming matchups and less reps taken by an RB2. Sure. Purdy's for the Herbo buy, but I have Dart and Kincaid picked up or set off waivers, so it's not necessary. That's what I would figure. If you're in a deeper league like that, you could find someone. The Ferg trade because I have Kittle, Aaron Jones, and Jennings. Okay, I'm reading it all. I don't remember the trade. Michael Munoz, Caleb, or Purdy rest of season. I think a tiny edge to Purdy or to Caleb, but they're very close. Caleb with the rushing, and the offense has been getting better and better and better each week. So there's still development happening. So I think a slight edge to Caleb, but not really. Jayden, should I trade Derrick Henry for Josh Jacobs? Jacobs' odor needs to win out to make the playoffs. I would want more. If you're trading for a guy who could be injured this week and possibly more, I would want more. Bino's 56 with the 1 month sub on Twitch. Thank you, Bino. Let's keep it rolling. Michael Munoz, flex Judy or Corum? I would go with Jerry Judy, I think. Yeah, is that Jayden maybe? Jayden, but with X's instead. The Jacobs owner needs to win out. Like, then make them pay a little bit more. Add in another swap where you get a better wide receiver for a wide receiver that you have, something like that. Apex, I got H.N. Dowdle and Aaron Jones as my healthy running backs with Bucky and Benson on the bench. Okay. Should I trade any of them for a wide receiver or a tight end? Currently, like, yes. Yeah, Apex. The team here doesn't matter. The answer is always be shopping your players. Should you trade any of them for a wide receiver? Like, do you have any real offers? Go find out what the offers are. If you have Rico Dowdle, there are people that love Rico Dowdle. Are any of them in your league? There are people that love Devon Achane. are they in your league? Like, I don't know, man. You got to go shop and see what the deals are. Because you could get a massive payout on Achane. And if you don't know that unless you ask. Steven, my friend, wants to do Justin Jefferson for Devontae Adams. You can. I don't think it's wild. I know a lot of people are doing that. Bino, what to do with Cook? With James Cook? What do I do with James Cook? I typically just start him. I'm not sure I understand. Like, on the year, I think he's running back 6. I don't know. People are pretty worried about James Cook going forward. I'm fine with James Cook. Steven, do I start McMillan or Adams as my flex? Steven, we covered that one. Origami Harvest, who's better rest of season, Jennings or Franklin? Really close. I think Franklin. Bino says, my team is this. What do you recommend I do? Bino, you just subbed. Bino, we do that in our Discord for Twitch subs, which you just did. So we have a channel here. I'm pulling it up on the screen. It is the roster help and screenshots channel where you can just post your team and then we open up a chat thread. Like, here's one from Nameless, so I'll respond to that one. We got Postman this morning, Shadow this morning. We open up a conversation thread and just go back and forth. We just don't do that on the live stream because it's very specific to one person. So we do those separately. Bino says, should I trade Cook? You should trade everyone on your team always, all the time, always. The answer is of should I trade this player is always yes, because you're not even listing who you're trading them for. Should you trade a player? Yes, because you could get more. Steven, we covered Origami Harvest. We covered Nathan, David Montgomery, and Michael Wilson for Olave. Sure. I don't really have any value on Michael Wilson. So if I can go from Monty to Olave and it costs me essentially nothing, I would be very happy with that. Bo Brown, should I start Josh Allen tonight? Low-key scary because I'm a Texans fan, so I know what we do to opposing quarterbacks. I think he's a must-start. I have Josh Allen as a must-start. He has put up big numbers against against hard defenses. I would be starting him. Steven, do I trade Adams for Justin Jefferson? That's it. You can. You might. Yeah. I think I would just coin flip them. If I was drafting today, they would be very close to each other. What you doing, Lovely says, what about Dak and ETN for London? Like, I don't hate it. If you're not starting ETN, I really like ETN. But if you're not starting him, sure. Dice, does Herb belong on the bench after the bye? I don't think so. I know there's a concern. They lost 35-6. I think the team gets better if Hampton comes back. I'm not benching him. Steven, we covered that one. Okay, Jason Ortiz, start 1 this week. Purdy, Brissett, or Trevor. Got Bo Nix on bye. I think I'm going Brock Purdy. Who's better rest of season? Maybe a slight edge to Brock Purdy, but that can change each week. They're so close together in general. Jason Ortiz on a different account. Should I drop White or a different Jason Ortiz? Or the name just looks different. No, there's 2 Jason Ortizes on YouTube asking different questions at the same time. Bino says, drop that Discord link. You can type !Discord, or if you're on Twitch, you can scroll down and there is a button you can click, a banner you can click to join it. On Twitch and YouTube, you can type !Discord though, and it will put it in the chat. All right, Jason Ortiz, should I drop White if Bucky is back for Pollard, Knight, Carter, Isaiah Davis? Like, yeah, I would drop him for really any of those. Start 2 this week, Wandale, Shakir, or Sticky Ricky. Probably just Wandale. Jason Ortiz, since it's handcuff season, which 3 are best? It's all a dart throw. Any one of those would be fine. He's listed Blake Corum, Brian Robinson, Tootin, Stevenson, probably not Stevenson, Emmanuel Wilson, Knight, and Carter. So probably not Bam Knight. Blake Corum, Brian Robinson, probably Corum, Robinson, and Tootin are the 3 best, but it's really just who gets hurt. So how do we know? Jason Ortiz start 1 this week. DJ Moore or Shakir? I would do Shakir. You have Dart as my quarterback. Also have Joe Burrow and IR if he comes back. Should I pick up Bo Nix just in case Dart gets hit again? I mean, I think you just wait and see. If Bo Nix is on your waivers, there's a good chance he would stay on your waivers. Start 2 this week. Shepard, Yoshivas, DK, Iamaner, Coker, Leggett, Tillman. Did I miss any other bums? Just want 10 points each somehow. Lamau. I'll start Yoshivas and Sterling Shepard. Luke Cod, trade Jalen Warren and Alec Pierce for Chase Brown. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Origami Harvest, I have May and Brissett, but May's on bye in week 14. Should I drop Brissett to pick up Love or Tua? I mean, I think there's always a very real chance Jacoby Brissett looks awful this week and you decide to drop him anyway for one of those guys. So yeah, Love or Tua would both be fine starters in that week. Denton Rodriguez, who do you like more rest of season, Javonte or Henry? I think I still like Derrick Henry a little bit more. Unspoken Legends, you should do a roster rating on stream for channel points. I've got 31,000. The most I can do is an emote. Roster rating on stream for 25,000. Lamau. Unspoken Legends, we're going to swap to Dynasty roster reviews on stream in the off season, but those would just be for money. It wouldn't, I don't know that we would do it for channel points. K Mercer, should I be holding multiple defenses and multiple quarterbacks heading into the playoffs? I try not to. I would rather grab players that could, dart throw players that could see increased usage. Like the Jets have said, part of the reason they're starting Tyrod Taylor is to see how, to get a better gauge of how good their young receivers are. So like AD Mitchell and the others, I don't even know who they are. So we might see less time for Allen Lazard, and they're just seeing like which receivers are good. Sort of. Like I think the coach is still trying to win the game, but they are now into roster evaluation mode. So things will change. Players that weren't getting played before will play and could be good. So I would rather take shots on them than a defense. And Gross, what's handcuff season? That's a really smart question. Handcuff season is right now. After you can't trade anymore, if your running back gets hurt, if let's say Bijan Robinson got hurt, Tyler Algier would become really valuable. So we just put Tyler Algier on our bench rather than a deep backup running back. Like you would hold Tyler Algier more than Kyle Monangai or Tyrone Tracy, because the only reason you're ever starting one of those guys is if Bijan gets hurt. So like you have Bijan, he's always in your lineup. You're never going to start Monangai over Bijan. But if Bijan got hurt, you would start Algier over Monangai because he would get more work. So you just start thinking of, I'm never going to start this guy unless a player gets hurt. And then when they do, which one's better? Diego Ortega, would I trade Cook and Nakua for Achane and Rice? I don't think so. No, I would say with Puka and Cook. Keller Holbrook, Lamar or Purdy, with Lamar having lingering issues, debated this last week, and Purdy played better. There's going to be weeks where Brock Purdy outscores Lamar. There's going to be weeks where he outscores Josh Allen. I think I'm generally just sticking with Lamar Jackson. Steven, what's your ranking when it comes to defenses this week? I don't do a lot of defense rankings. I'm just looking for teams that turn the ball over or allow sacks, or a defense that gets sacks. Minnesota gets sacks, but Green Bay doesn't allow a ton. So I'm not really looking there. But I would play them against someone like Cincinnati who does, or Vegas who does. I don't do a ton of defensive rankings though, because they are also very fluky with the way that scoring works. Same thing with kickers. Like if the offense does worse and a kicker kicks a further field goal, they get more points. That seems fluky, where you're trying to find an offense that's good, but also not great. Bino, trade Saquon and Higgins for Bucky, Debo, and Bowers. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm just staying with Saquon and Higgins. Taco Lovers, someone in my league offered me Chase Brown, Goddard, Waddle, Sharp for Bijan. I think I'm just staying with Bijan. If I'm trading away Bijan Robinson, I want 2 players back. I don't want an army of garbage. Like how many good players are you dropping if you have to make that trade, Taco Lovers? And you have Javonte, Ken Walker, and Elijah Wilson. Like you're fine with Bijan and those guys. You can move Bijan, but I just want like two really good players. Bino, all right, Bino, we get to everything. Like you typed it at 12:37 and 12:39. Chill. Brandon, I was looking through the Discord. Did you ask Brandon? We have a rule. If I miss the question, just rephrase it. I'm not going to scroll up. Big Joser, what do you think about a Bucky for Hampton straight up trade? I think I'm just staying Bucky. I think I would prefer Bucky. Postman, trade Dowdle and London for Amon-Ra? It seemed like you might be able to get another thing back with Amon-Ra. So possibly. Brandon, trade Harvey and Devontae Adams to get Jamar. I would trade RJ Harvey and Devontae Adams to get Jamar, especially if you can survive this week. Ooh, Rami on TikTok. Rami's here. Trade Genti and Olave for Ibuka. I don't think that's bad. Rob D asks, pick 2, Aaron Jones, Woody, or Emmanuel Wilson. I would go Aaron Jones, and then if Emmanuel Wilson's the starter, I would have him ahead of Woody. But if we're in a situation where you would have to start Woody Marks tonight and you can't wait and find out, then I would go with Woody Marks. P, start 2, Pittman, Judy, Slayton, Yoshibas. You have to sit Jamar Chase. I would play Pittman and Judy over Yoshibas. Carlo Neptuno, Javonte Williams for Chris Olave. You have Bijan and Jalen Warren. You could get more than Chris Olave. I would think you could get more. AV returns. Who would I trade Bijan for? I'm sure we've done Bijan in the last couple weeks. Or in the last week or so. I may have done Bijan on one of these. Gibbs. I don't know that I'm dropping it Bijan Robinson's value that much. I would still have him as a top 5 running back and value him that way. But I'm sure I've covered him on a trade value video recently. 375 JP. Who would you start in the last flex spot in full PPR? DJ Moore, Pacheco, or Shaheed? I guess DJ Moore. 2 weeks behind Danny Dimes or Purdy. I think I've got got Purdy at 11 and Daniel Jones at 13. Gene, Purdy, or Dart. Got Purdy at 11 and Dart at 12. We do have all of these, like Baker Mayfield or Brissett. If you've been waiting and that your question is just wide receivers versus wide receivers, quarterbacks versus quarterbacks, we've got rankings broken down game by game. So you can hear about the matchups, why someone would be ranked that way for every single game and every player. So every quarterback is ranked. Any startable wide receiver is ranked. Fab, trade Ladd and Jamar for Amon-Ra and Javonte. That seems fine. If you're just looking to go from Ladd to Javonte Williams, we covered Ladd on a trade video today. Where is he? Ladd McConkey right here. Real trades going on with Ladd, and that seems to be in line with the rest of them because that's essentially Jamar Chase for Amon-Ra and then Ladd for Javonte Williams, and that seems fine. Rob D, Dak, Brissett, or Burrows if he actually plays. I mean, if Burrows is playing, I'm starting him. Otherwise, it's Dak. Zach Radmer, should I start Marks if I'm starting Nico? I'm waiting for Jacobs news. If you're waiting for Jacobs news compared to Emmanuel Wilson, I may just end up going with Woody Marks tonight, unless I have someone else that I could play on Sunday instead. And having Nico Collins wouldn't make any difference to me. Unspoken Legends, has anyone mentioned they are benching Keon Coleman again tonight? No, they haven't. And I don't know that he's rostered in a lot of 10-team and 12-team leagues. In a dynasty league, I have him, and it's concerning that he's getting benched. But maybe this is what really helps him develop. I don't know. Lucott, is it okay having Achane, Hampton, and Jalen Warren as your running backs? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're missing one. You need to fill in one this week, but yeah. Carlo Neptuno with the YouTube sub. Thank you, Carlo. Elian, Ferg, or Hunter Henry? I'm going Ferguson. Let's look at that one. Am I crazy? No, Ferg has been pretty really good. Tight end 2 with a little bit of a dip. And then Hunter Henry. He's playing the Bengals this week. That's Travis Hunter. Tight end 13. I think in most weeks I'm going Ferg. Playing the Eagles. He was hyper targeted against the Eagles in the first week, or was a big part of the offense. So I'm fine with Ferguson. Nameless. Think I should drop Charbonnet and pick up Bijan Robinson to handcuff with Christian McCaffrey. The breakdown that I would have there is like, is Charbonnet for sure worse than Bijan Robinson if you're starting them? Like if Christian McCaffrey goes down, are we sure Bijan Robinson's better than Charbonnet? And the answer might be yeah. So trade Charbonnet, who still does have some value, and then pick up Bijan Robinson. Would be my thoughts on that one. Eccentric phase, can't seem to find a deal with my league mates with how much startable depth I have at running back. What wide receiver would you target if I package Swift and one of Higgins or Pittman, Amon-Ra, Rice? Same thing here. Rob D with the, is that Roses coming through, Rob D? Thank you, Roses. Thank you, Rob. The thing that I would say on this one, eccentric phase, like you have a lot of players that you're putting into packages and trying to up tier. This is how I build those trades. So you're sending Swift with Higgins, Swift with Pittman, Swift with Amon-Ra, Swift with Rice. That's like 40 trade targets you could come up with there, and this is how I would make them. Taco Lovers, another offer I got for Bijan is Olave, Saquon, and JMO. That one's better. Like maybe you've even said this and I just have forgotten. Like, why are we moving Bijan? Do we need to? Thomas Richter, I traded Justin Jefferson for CeeDee Lamb. Did I win? I mean, we don't know. That's why I don't do a lot of trades like that one. Maybe CeeDee Lamb is better rest of season, but we don't know. Doing a 2-for-1 is like almost always in your favor, which is why I prefer doing trades where I'm sending 3, getting 2, sending 2, getting 1, sending 4, getting 3, because that's almost always in your favor. 1-for-1, same position, same tier. We don't know the future. Eccentric Phase says, I was asking if that tier of Amon-Ra or Rashid would be good ones to target. With respect, the answer is still there. Like, even if I misread the question, like this would tell you the answer. So probably, but this is how I would look up and determine it. If instead of saying package Swift with Amon-Ra, package Swift with Rice, you're asking if packaging Swift with Higgins or Pittman could get you Amon-Ra or Rice, that's how I would determine if it's reasonable. And it could be, but then just ask that manager as well. Adam Flynn, do you like Judkins for Jamison Williams? I already have. Do I like Judkins for Jamison Williams? Not a ton. You already have Bijan, Henry, Kyron, need wide receiver help for week 14. I don't like it a ton. I would check and see about other options. Rob D, pick 2, Dobbs, Wilson, JMO, Wandale. I would be JMO and Wandale. Rob. How do I feel about Tyrell Shavers from Scott? My guess is that we've seen the best game of this guy's career. He's not a rookie. He's been around a couple of years, has not done anything. Maybe he's developed. I think this means he's got 2 full years, 23, 24, where he did nothing. Maybe he's developed. He's been getting into the games more in year 3, but it's most likely that this was the best game of his career, and it came on one big touchdown. He had 90 yards receiving. How much of that was one big touchdown? On the year, has he gotten to double digits? Yeah, he has. Here, 2, 2, 1, that's 5, plus 5 is 10. Add another 5 to get to 15, 16, 7. He's got 17 targets on the year. Should I drop Mooney and pick up Shavers? No. I don't think so. Stevenson or Charbonnet from Bear Hugger? I mean, probably. I think I end up with Charbonnet slightly ahead if we hear that Ramondre is playing. Listed as questionable That's Rashad Bateman. Limited practice Wednesday. He hasn't played since week 8. Let's see. Grave Diggingham, TTV, thank you for the follow. Rob D, Michael Wilson, or Aaron Jones for the flex. I'm going Aaron Jones. Start Michael Wilson or Alec Pierce from Nicholas. Like in most situations, I'm not starting Michael Wilson. So Aaron Jones at the flex. Yep. What was the other one? Christian Watson at the flex. I would go Christian Watson. I don't recall the exact other player, but I would take them over Michael Wilson. YYO BBQ, Ricky Pearsall or Josh Downs this week. I've got Pearsall ahead. Username 212123. Woody Marks, Emmanuel Wilson, Gainwell, Bucky, Sean Tucker start 2. I mean, how would I know? If Bucky's playing, I'm starting Bucky. We would have to know for Woody Marks. Like, it's just a lot of guys that are all injury concerned. So maybe we're taking Woody Marks tonight to be sure that we get someone and then hoping for Bucky. And if we don't get Bucky, we're going Sean Tucker. And then Emmanuel Wilson or Gainwell could probably both end up ahead of Sean Tucker. Some guy says, I got offered Baker and Olave for Waddle and Geno. Baker and Olave for Waddle and Geno. What kind of league have we got here where you have Geno on your team? Some guy? Maybe is this a 2-quarterback league? Maybe is this a 2-quarterback league? So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just being stupid. Yes. I'm just misunderstanding the question, but the answer is like really obvious. You take Baker and Olave. Like, how different are Olave and Waddle? I don't think Olave and Waddle are that different. So I would just much rather have Baker. Is Quentin Johnson cooked? No, I don't think he's cooked. It's just kind of what he is. He'll have some really big games. He'll have some not big games. This one just seems disrespectful, Gene. Where's Mahomes on your ranking? Just look, brother. Why would you spam it in the chat when you can just look? I can't do it, Gene. I can't do it, Gene. Where is he in the, just look. It's right here. Jordan, start Olave, Alvin Kamara, Pickens, Odunze, pick 3. Start Olave, Alvin Kamara, Pickens, Odunze. I'm going Olave, Pickens, Odunze. Royce Tooth, who should I try and get for Ladd or Rome or Adams? Yeah, we did Ladd as a trade video today with real trades happening for Ladd. That one's on TikTok. That one's on YouTube. Who should you get for Rome? We've covered Rome, like Adams. I think we covered in the last week. And then in general, we also have the video of pairing players together for trades. This is how I would determine who to go and get for those. Jordan. Nope, Jordan was a different one. That was Royce Tooth. Adam Flynn 2000. What's up, Adam? Thank you for the question. Who would you be looking when trading Judkins for a wide receiver? Same answer. This is how I build my trades, Adam. Pater, maybe a way to help with start sits is in the YouTube at the beginning or end the show with your full ranking per position in a big list. Yes, you're not necessarily wrong, Peyton. But I also really just need watch hours. So I don't even mind being transparent and saying I am doing a live stream to tell people to watch a video for watch hours. I don't feel like that's bad. I answer a lot of questions here, and I will help me more than helping everyone else. We'll do a lot of helping here, but watch hours is what helps me the most. Austin, Cook, or Justin Jefferson in the flex? I feel dumb for even asking this. No, don't feel dumb. I think you're okay if you go with James Cook. If you are worried about Justin Jefferson, I think you could feel okay going with James Cook. I probably would have James Cook ahead if it's just a flex. Dak or Brissett from user 245. I'm still going with Dak. Not over. I don't want to put Jacoby Brissett over someone like that. Some of the the breakdown for a question like that is like, if I lose because I started Jacoby Brissett over Dak, I'll feel like a total dum-dum. I'll feel like a complete dum-dum if I went with that. Because the things that are happening with Jacoby Brissett, we've pulled this up a couple times, like the team is getting crushed. 41-22, and Jacoby Brissett breaks a completion record because he sucked to start the game. There's always a good chance, like when you have a player like that who is able to get fantasy points because he stunk at the beginning of the game and then was throwing to catch up, like sometimes they just stink the whole game. Week 10, Arizona lost 40 points to 22 because of Jacoby Brissett. They just don't really have a good quarterback. The team says Jacoby's better than Kyler. No, he's putting them way behind and then being able to get back into it. That's not something I like to chase. I'll do it in a desperation mode, but if I have Dak, I'm just going with Dak. Adam Flynn, do you like Dak, Darnold, or Purdy this week? I like Dak. Diego, I'm in a tough spot. I have Odunze, J-Mo, and Swift. I have to start 2. What do we think? You have Odunze, J-Mo, and Swift. I'm going Odunze and Swift. Rob D says, help. I need to pick up a tight end this week. These are the options. Theo Johnson, Hunter Henry, or Cade Otton, Taylor or Barner. I'd probably go on Theo or Otton there interchangeably. We got another Jack on TikTok. What's up, Jack? David Montgomery, Aaron Jones, or Michael Wilson. I have got Aaron Jones the highest up, so I would go with Aaron Jones there. I don't really want to chase Michael Wilson or Jacoby Brissett. There's always a chance I'm wrong, but in general, like situations like this where the team is getting crushed are not really that predictable. Hunter, should I start AJ Brown? I am. Got a follow from Jack. Thank you, Jack. Brian Klein, Goff, Brissett, Mahomes. I think I'm going Mahomes there. Same thing with Brissett. Like, it's been working. I might do it if I'm desperate and ship away Mahomes. But a lot of the reason the team is losing is because of Jacoby Brissett. A lot of the reason that they're in a position where they're down multiple touchdowns is because Jacoby Brissett fumbles or throws an interception. Alex says flex Pierce or Jennings. Would I flex Alec Pierce or Jennings? I have Jennings ahead. Shakir or Pierce in the flex? I think they're like neck and neck. Shakir at 26, Pierce at 27. Nick Turman says need help ASAP. Not as soon as possible. Alex Clark says at flex. Anthony, Jordan Love or Brissett? I got something stuck in my throat. I'm still going Love. Excuse me. Rich's Bees. Lamar for Pickens if I got Caleb Williams. Yeah. You could also shoot higher. We covered Lamar. Within these past 3 days, we've covered Lamar in one of these videos of real trades of like what you could get 1-for-1 for Lamar. So yes, that seems okay. I think you could possibly get more sending away Lamar. And we've covered that this week within the last 5 days, real trades that have happened for Lamar. We still have Nick Turman, just says need help ASAP 2 minutes ago. What's the question, Nick? Was it as soon as possible? You were willing to wait 2 more minutes before sending a question? Or did you get banned for typing all caps? I hope YouTube stopped you from typing because of all caps. DJ Gags, Dak or Darnold? I would go Dak. I would go Dak ahead of Darnold. Let's throw this one up here and let's swap it back to week 12. Eric, what do you think about Bijan, Bucky, and Zay Flowers? Here we go. What do I think about Bijan? I like this one so far, Eric. What do I think about Bijan? Thank you for the question, Eric. Bijan, Bucky, and Zay Flowers for Rico, Pickens, and James Cook. I don't know which side do I like more. Let's punch it in, Eric. Go to the calculator. I think I'm leaning. This was Bijan, Bucky, and where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Is it Eric VR? It's gone. It's gone. I'm looking for this chat. It was Bijan. Here it is. Bijan, Bucky, and Zay for Rico, Pickens, and Cook. Bijan, Bucky, Zay for Rico. I just, out of the corner of my eye, saw the chat jump again. Pickens and Cook. So it's a good thing that we've got this. I'm taking the Bucky side. Running back 14 is just too low. So here's the breakdown. And this will be small on your screen, so I'll talk it out. On the trade calculator, this pulls rankings for these players based on real trades that are happening. So Bucky Irving getting traded. I mean, I think he's better than running back 14, which is what they have him listed at. They've got Bijan as running back 4, Bucky as running back 14, and Zay as running back 24. I agree with 4. I agree with 24. 14 is just too low. We're not coming back on how good he is when he's playing, and we think he's back soon. So I think I'm just staying on this side. Would I move Rico? Yeah, I would rather move Rico. Pickens at wide receiver 12 seems fine. James Cook at running back 7, that also seems fine. So if we're just going like, which guy do we like more? Which side do we like more? One, they're very even. I would give a slight edge to the Bucky side because I think the value is just a little undercooked there, or a little undervalued. So I think I'm taking that side, but it's super, super close. Josh Lair, sit one, Woody, Bijan, and Rico. I would sit Woody Marks. Josh Coover, start Goddard or Jawan this week. I've got Dallas Goddard at 7 in the ranks. We've got rankings here. I've got Dallas Goddard at 7 and Jawan Johnson at 11. Nick Turman never came back. Need help ASAP. ONACEU trade Olave and Ibuka for Jamar Chase. That doesn't seem terrible. That seems all right. Like we gotta hold one of them, or we need to start something this week, and we're moving 2 startable receivers. So if you have another one, hopefully you have another one. But that value doesn't seem bad. V Kenshin, what's going on? Would I trade Jalen Warren, DK, and Addison for Henry and Debo? I think so. I think we're in this one. We're just getting the value of the 3 for 2. So here's the trade that we have: Jalen Warren, DK Metcalf, Jordan Addison for for Derrick Henry, who I think is the best player in this deal, and Debo. Do I like Debo more than DK and Addison? I think so. So yeah, I could do that. And you're getting the extra bench spot. I could send those 3 and come away with the 2. Jay Hannon, which one would I bench this week? Higgins, Pickens, Zay, or Nico Collins? I think I'm benching Zay Flowers there. King John James, who would you rather move, Rico or Tet? Rico or Tet? Who would I rather move? I mean, I have a video on this question, King John James. The answer is the one that you can. What I'm reading here, I don't know if you have trade offers for Rico or Tet. Which one would I rather move? I would be shipping both of them. I would shipping them individually. I would be shipping them out together. Whichever. Nick Quinn, NBA. Oh, we're almost to Nick. We got one Walling. What's up, one Walling? I got Jacobs and Achane and no backup running back. Should I trade Bucky for Tet? No, I think you should get more for Bucky in general. And I think you need a running back this week. Jacobs might miss. Achane's on bye. Or maybe you're just tanking the week. Nick Turman says, was just offered Rashee Rice for Addison. You would get Rashee Rice, send Jordan Addison a late second and a first. I would send Addison and a first for Rashee Rice. Rice would certainly push me over the top, already the highest scoring team. Yeah, I would push that. I mean, even if you're right after the season, you could trade Rashee Rice for Jordan Addison and a first as well. So win the year. I mean, it's just a rental. Maybe you're even paying a late second or you're getting a third back on top of that in the offseason. But if you're just renting Rashee Rice and you can trade them in the offseason, probably at a higher value, I would like that. Quinn NBA, would I start Ramondre Stevenson or Mark Andrews in the flex spot? I think Mark Andrews. Dirty Mike, trade Jonathan Taylor for Christian McCaffrey? I don't know that I am. McCaffrey still has a bye week coming up. So you trade away a guy who's scoring really well for someone who hasn't had their bye week. I think and they score about the same. I think I would just stick with Jonathan Taylor. Nick Turman, I have a plethora of picks, but I'm in first, and I think this one could win the championship. Yeah, I think it's fine. Read my big message and see if that changes your answer. No. Ricky, start Fairbairn this week. Yeah, sorry, Ricky, I don't do a ton of kicker stuff. Will Reed, Woody, or Javante? I've got Javante. Henry Avila, trade Brees Hall, Pierce, Addison for DK and Ladd. Yeah, I'll take DK and Ladd there. I like Ladd McConkey quite a bit. Charbonnet or Sean Tucker from Eisenfeld. I mean, if Bucky's going, it would be Charbonnet. Okay, Alex, a friend in real life did laugh that I said no to reading the big message. Thank you. Thank you. Flex Romeo Dobbs this week from Vikenshin? I think, yes, he's definitely flexible, but there are a lot of options that I would use ahead of him. Some of them that could be on waivers. Let's see, Coderg with the Frogs. Groot Nation. What's up, Groot Nation? That was also in the name. Woody Marks or Ken Walker? I've got a slight ahead on Ken Walker over Woody Marks. I mean, maybe I end up being wrong, but that's the way I would go on that one. Cali Dog, what's up, Cali Dog? In first place, but had J.K. Dobbins in London. Got ETN and Nico to replace. Like, worth it? I think so. I don't know what the trade was. Like, you sent London for ETN and Nico. I would like that trade. I like ETN quite a bit. I had J.K. Dobbins as a buy low running back, and then he gets hurt. I also have ETN as a buy low running back. Two different trades. I mean, you're probably all right. Those guys are good replaceables. ETN for JMO, I would rather have Jamison Williams. Or sorry. What you doing, lovely? I would trade Jamison Williams for ETN. I would rather have ETN. Where are we saying with ETN questionable? Harvey and Vidal on bye. Need to pick up a backup option, Singletary or Tootin. I would just grab Tootin and then start ETN if he's playing and Tootin if he's not. And then can I drop Vidal because I have you have Hampton who might come back after the bye? Like, we don't know that he's coming back. We thought Bucky would come back after the bye, and he didn't. The only thing that we do know is that the coach said he wouldn't be back until at least after the bye. And that's all we know. Am I comfortable starting Watson at flex where with Reed returning? Do I think that hurts his production? A little. Does it hurt his production? Like, sort of. There's also no Tucker Kraft, so they do need to change things up. But am I comfortable starting Watson at the flex? No, but it can definitely be all right. One Walling, does it matter? Okay, does it matter? But do you like flexing 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, or a mix of both? I don't worry a ton about it. I just try to get a rough estimate of the points that they'll score and then put the highest one in there. I don't make a big difference out of it. Ronaldo asks, Emeka Buka, Juwan Jennings, and Walker for Barkley and Pickens. Yeah, I'm taking Barkley and Pickens there. I like Emeka Ibuka, but I like Barkley more. And Jennings and Walker are nice. Maybe they're nice in real life, but I like Pickens more. And he's not nice in real life. It doesn't affect anything on fantasy. I was just commenting on him as a human being. Luke F. Pick 2 between Pickens, Higgins, and Collins. I would go Nico and T. Higgins, but it's neck and neck. I have T. Higgins at 10 and George Pickens at 11. And then, Luke, if you have questions like that are just which wide receivers to start, we do have rankings, breaking it down. We have every quarterback ranked. We've got most of the wide receivers ranked. Players that wouldn't be ranked would be like Matthew Golden, that tier, because they would be outside the top 40. Got running backs ranked, tight ends ranked. You can check them out in the YouTube video with breakdowns for each game. Where are we? Apex. What? Here we go. Should I give up Rico Dowdle for Saquon, or are they 1-for-1 at this point? I think I like Saquon a little bit more, but they're about 1-to-1. Poopy breath fart. What's up, PBF? Would you trade Brees for Ladd, Pearsall? Okay, would I trade Brees Hall for Ladd, Pearsall for Jones? Oh, okay. Here's a team that needs a running back, and they have 3. Are these all 3 real trades that you have, PBF? Would I trade Brees for Ladd? I like that deal. I like Ladd. Would I trade Pearsall for Jones? Yes, I would. Or Pearsall for Ken Walker. I would trade Pearsall for Aaron Jones. And then if I couldn't get that, I would do Brees for Ladd. One Malling in Dynasty, trade Garrett Wilson, a first or second for Jacobs. Need running backs bad at the upper half of the standings with the deadline this week. Shoot. I mean, I don't know why you have to add a first for Josh Jacobs. I don't think you should have to add anything. Garrett Wilson and you get Josh Jacobs. I don't know why you would have to add anything on that. Poopy breath fart says yes. Denton Rodriguez, would I trade the Bucks D for the Rams D? I don't know that I'm ever really doing defense tradings, like just straight up. I don't know. Let's look at the matchups. Bucks play the Rams. So no. Would I rather have the Rams over the Bucks? Like, I guess I would take the Rams defense for the rest of the season and for this week. Dakota Bauer says, do I play Bucky if he plays or Kenneth Gainwell? I would play Bucky. I would play Bucky. Leo says Dak or Bryce Young. I'm going Dak. Zachary start Brissett or Dak this week. I'm not chasing Brissett. I'm going with Dak. If you need to win this week, would I rather have Brees or Jones? Probably Ladd and Jones. Nope. Ibuka, T, Henderson, Pickens, play 2? Question mark? Like, should I play 2? I would go, if I'm really worried about it, like, oh, if you only have to play 2, it's Ibuka and T Higgins for me. And then Pickens right behind it, and then Henderson behind that. Eric VR, Odunze, Rice, Ibuka, Collins need to sit 1. I would sit Odunze. Let's see, Jordan C. drop Kincaid for Waller or Strange. I would drop him for Strange. I don't know if Darren Waller's coming back. Maybe if I'm short on the timeline of Darren Waller, then I could take that. Apex. Oh, Poopy Breath Fart Lad has a bye. I think still Aaron Jones. I'm not sure which guy you're starting. Apex sitting at 9-2, already playoff lock, just looking for the higher upside between the two and already have the same schedule for the playoffs, but Dowdle plays Seattle championship week. I don't get that into the nitty gritty. I mean, I like Saquon more than Dowdle as it is. So I would just go with that. Jay Hannon picked up Burrow a couple weeks ago. If he's back next week, what trade value does he have for a running back wide receiver? What trade value does he have next week? I don't know. Let's just take a look at what he has right now. Right now, these trades have happened today and yesterday. 1-for-1. Dene, D-E-N-E. Is it Dene or Dean? Michael Wilson or Olave for this week? That one I'm going Olave by a lot. Jack S., Daniel Jones or Jared Goff? I think I have it Jared Goff ahead playing the Giants. Assuming both Bucky and Jalen Warren are limited, start Tucker or Gainwell. If they're limited, no. If they're playing, I'm just going Bucky and Jalen Warren and not the other guys. Would I trade Pittman for Alvin Kamara from Camphor? I think you can get more for Pittman. I would want more. Sako John, I have Dak and Bo in Dynasty, but just pick up Sam Darnold instead of using Dak for this week. I would still start Dak. If you want to go with Darnold, you can, but I would go with Dak. PBF, I have Tet, CD, Franklin, Pearsall, Ladd. Oh. Joe Man, I have James Cook and received a trade with, I have James Cook and I've received a trade with Justin Jefferson and Swift in a Dynasty. Would I send James Cook for Jefferson and Swift in a Dynasty? Yeah, I would. I like James Cook. I would still much rather have Justin Jefferson for a Dynasty. So we either would have JJ McCarthy develop and be fine for Justin Jefferson, or they'll just bring in someone else. The Vikings, teams change quarterbacks a lot, but the Vikings change their quarterbacks really often. Corey in the house. No, you did not miss it. Juwan Johnson or AJ Barner to start since Laporta's on IR. I guess Juwan Johnson. Juwan Johnson with a slight edge. Sean Mackay, Bucky and Nico for Saquon and Metcalf. Bucky Irving and Nico for Saquon and Metcalf. I'm staying with Bucky and Nico. I would stay with Bucky and Nico. I think the downside or the lowest end player there, Metcalf, is just too low. The only way I'm doing that is if you're in a situation where Bucky, who was it? It was Bucky and Nico, where like Bucky was a reserve player for you and you have two great running backs ahead of him. And then we're just moving from a reserve player of Bucky to a reserve player of Metcalf, and you make your lineup better. That's really the only way I would do that. One Walling, thoughts on Bucky for Chase Brown? I liked him about the same going into the year, a slight edge to Bucky. But if we're worried about it, I would put them in about the same tier going forward. Like the way that I was ranking them going into the year was Bucky as a mid-second rounder and Chase Brown as a very early third rounder. And then things have kind of shifted up. So like I guess Bucky a tiny bit ahead, but I wouldn't with all the injury in the past. So very close together. Sako John, I'm just thinking Dak versus Philly versus Sam against the Titans. I also have JSN, so I want the extra points for him. Okay. I won't stop you. Here it is, PBF. I'm in the position to trade Ladd for Brees and Pitts or Ricky for Aaron Jones. Basically, who's a better start between Brees and Jones? I mean, Brees is the better start. I think, I would start Brees before I started Aaron Jones this week. You have Ted, CD Franklin, Pearsall. If you need to stack it up for this 1 week, or you're going week by week, I would rather start Brees for this week. Joe Man, we covered you, Joe Man. Jelly of the month. We'll go Jelly of the month, and then I want to see you. Jelly of the month, play Texans defense tonight versus the Bills or drop for the Raiders. I wouldn't drop them for the Raiders. Other options, keep the Texans, drop Charbonnet or Loveland to grab the Raiders. I wouldn't grab the Raiders. On ACU. Maybe it's on ACU. With a follow from Knifer. What's up, Knifer? Knifer on Twitch. And Knifer, put your question on the, there it is. I see you, Knifer. We'll get right to you. Joe Man, we covered Jelly of the month. We covered, I missed Ace. Would you do the Olave and Ibuka trade now for Jamar Chase while he's on suspension? Whatever I said before, Ace took that into account. Hopefully anything I said before already knew he was on suspension. Camphor, would I start Alvin Kamara over Quinshon Judkins? I wouldn't. I would go Judkins first. Diego, do I start DK Metcalf, Olave, or Chase Brown at the flex? I think I'm Olave this week. Camphor, would you start Alvin Kamara? No, we covered that. Samuel, would you rather have a guy that has a great playoff matchup or a guy that will get volume regardless? I don't like the question. Because I can't know what you mean by these guys, what you mean by a great playoff matchup, what you mean by great volume regardless. So I'll just respectfully move past that one. Gainwell or Tootin and PPR flex for Jelly of the month. I mean, it's going to make a big difference based on if Jalen Warren plays or not. James Cook or Chase Brown rest of season? Still James Cook for me. Knifer, do I do Rasheed and Franklin or Michael Wilson for Jamar Chase? If I could move Rasheed and Michael Wilson and come away with Jamar Chase, I think I am. I think I'm doing that every single time. Especially if it's just Michael Wilson. Manxie, Odunze, AJ Brown, or Travion Henderson at the flex. I think I'm Odunze. Fire Bros. Need tight end help. Schultz, Barner, Juwan Johnson, and quarterback Purdy or Dak. I would go Dak and Juwan. Ace, trade CeeDee for Achane. If you would need the positional swap, I think they're okay. Manxie, Odunze, we covered. H-Be, Tootin or Sean Tucker. It depends on if Bucky's playing. Depends on if ETN is playing. Probably Tootin. If Bucky's playing, it's definitely Tootin. Pierce or Yoshivas from Rob. What's up, Rob? Rough with the injuries this week? I think I'm going Alec Pierce. Diego, now do I start Chase Brown over Javonte Williams? We've got that one in the ranks, Diego. But I will tell you, I have Javonte at 10 and Chase Brown at 17 against the Patriots. Samuel says, okay, best wide receivers rest of season. No. Knifer, do I do it if it's Franklin over Wilson? It's definitely worse, but I think you can. Are we ever starting Franklin? By the time you get to your playoffs, are we starting Franklin? A says thoughts on Garrett, or is it over for him for this season? Like, we don't know. We don't know. It could be. It could be, but we just don't know. And the team's not going to tell us. Like, he could just show up in 2 weeks and be fine. Wibberexon, would I trade Tet McMillan for Hampton? You have wide receivers. You got Nico, Ibuka, Olave, and T. Then sure. Sure. We could take the upside on Hampton. Wibberexon says Rico. I don't know what you mean. Oswaldo Gonzalez, Judkins, or Williams from Detroit for the flex. Hey, thank you for letting me know which Williams. Maybe Williams. I think that's close enough. I could go Williams for the upside. Kind of depends on what you need. If you need a big boom week, I'm going Jameson Williams. Otherwise, I feel pretty confident with Judkins' floor. Michael Wilson or Alex Pierce from Gabe Gerber. I'm going Alec Pierce. Trade BTJ, Charbonnet, and Burrow for Judkins and Marvin Harrison. I think I could take Judkins and Harrison there and then come up with another trade after that. Bryce Hall, start Michael Wilson or Judkins. I would go Judkins there. I don't really want to chase what happened with the Cardinals. Danny Kent's Puka and Sutton for CD, Diggs, and Tyler Warren. Sure. If you have Puka and no tight end, then yeah. If you have Puka and Kelsey, probably not. That's about the breakdown on that one, where I want to make my lineup better without moving a bunch of value that I can't trade onto my bench. Justin's back. Start 3. Ken Walker, Woody Marks, Javonte, and T. I would have Woody as the odd one out. Ken Walker, Javonte, and T. Bryce Hall, start Baker or Darnold. It's still, I'm going Baker. I feel like we hit that one for you. Ooh, Ace says, what games you been playing lately? We've been doing on stream. We've been doing, why am I blanking on the name? It's just kind of brain fried. We've been doing Arc Raiders. Been playing a lot of Fortnite with my daughter. She's starting to like gaming now. She's 6, so she can do it. We're past the point of her crying when we do she would play Fortnite and cry if we ever got near the storm and like turn the system off. But she's past that. She's not afraid of the storm anymore. So that's getting really fun. She's excited to check up on stuff like that. There's a new Destiny expansion coming out December. I might get that. I do City Skylines like Sim City. Marbles, Marvel Rivals. That one's real fun. I do that a lot. Those are the ones that I've been playing, but I'm open to a ton of stuff. So those are ones we've been playing. On stream, we'll probably do like Ace. Yeah, Fortnite is great. Does she rock the K-pop Demon Hunter skin? She loves it. Yes. Yes, she does. Bristle, start Kamara or Marks this week. I think I have Kamara ahead. I have Kamara at 23 and Woody Marks at 29. Woody Marks is playing the Bills, one of the toughest run defenses. So a lot of my anti-Marks take for this week is based on Yahoo's fantasy points against. This is season long. It's not an amazing metric, but actually Buffalo Bills are one of the better teams for running backs. I'm still not that high on Woody Marks. I just changed Just said something stupid there. Ace, put one at running back and flex the other out of these two. Brees, Trevion, Wandale. I mean, some of that's going to be based on one at running back, one at flex. I'm starting Pittman and probably Brees or Trevion. Baker or Brissett from H Bay. I'm going Baker. Alex, start Schultz or Hunter Henry. I've got Hunter Henry ahead. I like the matchup against the Bengals. Sanchez, I have Bijan, Henderson, Judkins, and Warren. Would I trade Warren and okay? Would I trade Warren, like Jalen Warren and Judkins for Rico Dowdle? Sure. Yeah. Just to get the better option. Tom, any updates on Bucky? No. Any updates on Bucky? We will get some soon. Probably not during the live stream. So right at the start of the stream, he was listed as practicing today, and then we'll just find out, is it a full practice, a limited practice? What's going on there? Henry Caldwell says, trade or keep Javonte. The answer is always trade, Henry. Like, shop him. I don't know what your league mates would give you for Javonte Williams. I still don't love him. Like, he's putting up good fantasy points, but I've seen him be like not an amazing running back for a long time. But that's just my opinion. The whole game is valuing players and making trades based on that. So check in with your league mates. If someone really likes Javonte Williams, they might give you a great deal for him, but you don't know unless you shop them. So the answer is always be selling, always be shopping your players. Do I like Kamara or Aaron Jones more rest of season? Maybe a slight edge to Aaron Jones, but pretty close. Like in this week, I have Jones at 20 and Kamara at 23, and they're going to be right around each other the rest of the way. Gravedigger, is that Gravedigger Mountain? Thank you for the follow. Book of Westbrook, welcome back. Any updates on Bucky? No. Nope. We'll get some in the next couple hours after the team releases their practice report. Ace saying pick up Alec Pierce or Butte. Probably Alec Pierce. Samuelson says, why are you ignoring me? What did I do? I just didn't think the question was very good. Who are the best wide receivers rest of season? I don't know. Puka, Jamar Chase, just stuff like that. Justin Schwarzkopf, who should I target when trading Drake London? We did a video on Drake London today. This one here, fantasy trade values, Drake London, and more. So it's got targets, it's got situations of when to trade him, how to figure out who to work with in your league, stuff like that. Verdict on Michael Wilson from Dominic. I'm not going with him. I've got him ranked at 31 as like, I guess, but a lot of what happened last week was like Baker or what am I blanking on? Jacoby Brissett stunk at the beginning of the game. So like, would I start Baker or Brissett from John Brenner? I'm starting Baker over Brissett. So they were down the past 2 weeks when DeMarcado has looked good, when Michael Wilson has looked good, was because the team lost 44-20-ish. In back-to-back weeks, they've given up 44 points or 40 plus. It's 40-something to 20-something in the past 2 weeks. Like, oh, that makes sense for fantasy success, but the player stinks. So I typically go away from that. Who did I see? Nick Ross. Why can't I get my question answered? Nick Ross, we go to Twitch and YouTube first. I'm hoping like the transparency is nice. We've got at any point 100 plus people in here. So the way that I rank them is like, what helps me the most? I'm here to help as much as I can, but I will help myself first. So Twitch and YouTube is where we cover the questions first, and then we jump into the TikTok chat. It's just really hard to moderate anything on TikTok. I've tried doing things like TikTok does offer some tools, but I can't stop spamming. Even if I try to pull out like key viewers, those viewers spam, and then it's just 50 messages of the same person. So if I tried to read a message that had multiple players, like I can't keep it in one spot. Just the real logistics of if I tried to read a trade message, I can't read it without it moving. So it's so hard to get to. Sam says, I'm on YouTube and you didn't answer mine. I did answer it. I said, I don't have a best wide receivers rest of season. Puka is the best. JSN is the best. I don't know how to answer a specific question like that one. Gravedigger, would I trade Ibuka and Judkins? Would I trade Ibuka and Judkins for DK, Dowdle, and Mark Andrews? I mean, I could do Ibuka for Dowdle, but then why do I have to add Judkins for DK and Mark Andrews? That's the way I would break that one down. And I would look and see if I could just do a different deal if you're looking for a better, what it sounds like is you're trying to move Ibuka and Judkins for a better running back like Dowdle. So I would see if you could do something else like that. Stevie should be looking to sell Bijan with Kirk being Cousins and dependent on touchdowns. Stevie, you should always be looking to sell your players. You should always be shopping your players. That's the right answer. Should you be trying to shop them because Kirk Cousins is there now? Well, everyone in your league is going to know that and feel some way about it. So just check and see what you can get for them. You should always be shopping your players. Nick Ross, I'm here from the TikTok. Should I trade Hampton, Ibuka, and Judkins for Justin Jefferson? You could. Let's see. Like, I don't know that I am. I think that's a lot to give up for Justin Jefferson, where there's a bunch of risk there. Brother Justin, did you see my question above? The only one I see is an arrow pointing up. Do I agree with keeping Woody and JMO on the bench, starting Gibbs, Henderson, Rasheed Pickens, and Ted? Yeah. Yeah. Oliver on TikTok, Waddle and Benson for Kyron and Tracy. Yeah. Yeah. So my breakdown on that one, like, it's not going to be everything every time, but in a lot of spots, Trey Benson is kind of your reserve option. If you aren't starting Trey Benson, then I'm fine with going to Tyrone Tracy there, because hopefully I'm never starting that guy. And then you get to go from Waddle to Kyron. Like, I like Kyron more. Michael Munoz, trade London and Jennings for Sutton. Trade London and Jennings. Takes me a minute. London and Jennings for Sutton, Ladd, and Tyrone Tracy. I would try to see what else you could get for Drake London. I know that there's risk for him, but I think I would rather get other stuff. I don't know that that's the one I would do. Like Adam saying, send Rasheed for Ibuka in London. I think there's enough upside with London to do that. I think so. Cooper Mercer, I traded Baker, London, and Marv for Puka and JJ McCarthy. I already have Dak. Okay. So would I trade Baker, London, and Marv for Puka? Yeah. Yeah, I could. And then you get JJ McCarthy, and I don't know, maybe this is a 2-quarterback league, but you're probably just dropping McCarthy. Angela Fountain, Allen, or May this week? Angela, if you have Josh Allen and Drake May, you got to trade one. I have Drake May ahead because I have him. Let me confirm the matchup. Because Drake May is playing at the Bengals. So I have him ahead of Josh Allen playing tonight against the Texans, who are a tough defense. But if you have Josh Allen and Drake May, you got to move one. Every week, these guys are both going to be ranked as top 5 options, and you can't start both. So we've pulled up situations like, here's Joe Burrow trades 1-for-1, but if you could trade Drake May for Drake London, Drake May for, let's find some better ones. Charbonnet, Shakir, ETN. I would be fine taking on ETN. We're looking to see, like, can you just get a usable wide receiver or running back or something that you could then pair in another trade to make your starting lineup better? I don't want Allen or May on my bench. Nick has awoken. Would you trade Henry, Judkins, and Pittman? Would I trade Derrick Henry, Judkins, and Pittman for McCaffrey? I feel like we're covering the full price. Like, there's spots where I would, Nick. There's probably teams where I would, but if I have those 3, I'm going to see if I can move Judkins and Pittman for an upgrade before I jump to paying full price for McCaffrey. Like, can I get a better deal moving just 2 of those for 1? Or could you get a better deal getting back 2 players instead of 1? I might look at something like that. Sandy says start Romeo Dobbs or Odunze in the flex. Oh, start Odunze. Sister Wee, what should I do with Trevion Henderson? Do you have any offers for them? Have you shopped Trevion Henderson? Sometimes the answer is like you just put them up on the trade block and send out very expensive offers and see what happens. See if anyone has an interest in Trevion Henderson. I would shoot high or just ask people, hey, are you interested? And see if they come at you with a high offer. But we don't know. Ooh, the Lorax. Pitts, Fant, or Johnson for the tight end. I think I would end up with Juwan Johnson. I think I might end up with Juwan Johnson there. Mike Crocker, Dart, or Purdy. I think I have a slight edge to Dart. No, I have Brock Purdy at 11 and Dart at 12. For someone having a tough time getting your question read, like I think I've seen Mike for a while. We have questions like that answered in the ranks. If your question is something like Dart or Purdy, Odunze or Dobbs, Addison or Pittman, Chase Brown or Kareem Hunt, we do have rankings and you can get that answered right there. Genty or Javonte Williams, another example. I have Javonte Williams at 10 and Genty at 19 playing the Browns. It's just a tough defensive matchup. Theo Johnson, Pitts, or Fant? Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot, you're right. The Lorax, thank you for understanding. There are multiple Johnsons. I would still go Johnson. Theo Johnson. Got Theo Johnson at 10, Juwan Johnson at 11. All right, quick question from Nayad. Trade Rico and Tracy for Saquon? Yeah. I played the opponent this week. It's a must-win game, and they're starting Hunt and Saquon. If it makes your team better, I'm going for it. Like, if it makes your starting lineup better, I'm not that worried about who I'm playing against. Cam Garrity, would I trade Genty and Diggs for Saquon? Would I trade Genty and Diggs for Saquon? I think I covered that one. Did I trade Genty? Oh, no. Trade Genty and Diggs for Saquon and Sutton. I think I would take Saquon and Sutton there. Ashton, should I trade Genty, Flowers, and Vidal for Henry and Odunze? Yeah, I think I want Henry and Odunze. Danny Kent's keep or sell Bijan? What's the offer? The answer is always be selling. I don't know what the offer is on Bijan. The answer is always be selling. Gavin Paul, Tyler Warren, or Michael Wilson rest of season? Tyler Warren. Which side do I prefer? Dart, London, and Flowers, or Lawson? Who's Lawson? There is no Lawson. Lawson, Rice, McMillan. Who's Lawson? Lawrence. Okay, Dart, London, and Flowers, or Lawrence, Rice, and McMillan. Probably Lawrence, Rice, and McMillan, but is Lawrence now your starter? Can you pick up someone else to start instead? I mean, if I rephrase this, would I trade Jackson Dart, Drake London, and Flowers for Rice and Tet? Yeah, I would. I don't know who you're starting. You have Mahomes as your starter. Perfect. You just drop Trevor Lawrence and you start Mahomes. I like that deal. French Mosey, should I be panicked about Drake London? Oh, French Moosey, should I be panicked about Drake London? It's up to you. I did a video today on Drake London and what you can get for him and where I'm trading him and what I think of the whole situation. It's right here. Fantasy trade values. Covers Drake London on that one. Waddle and Javonte for Chase Brown and Hampton from the Bees Rib. Waddle and Javonte. Okay. For Chase Brown and Hampton. If you needed 2 running backs, if this is just a way to turn Waddle into a running back, that can work. Waddle's on bye. Hampton's on bye. We're hoping that Hampton is back. Javonte for Chase Brown. Does not seem crazy. If this isn't just to get you 2 running backs, I'd probably stay with Javonte and Waddle or look for something else. Brissett or Daniel Jones? I'm going Daniel Jones, Alex. Jed 1, Jake, Ferg or Loveland? I would go Ferguson. And let's see, John says, trade Lamar for Harvey and Devonta Smith. I have Burrow coming. I possibly. John, we did one. Let me find the video that has Lamar, where you can check out other real trades that are happened with Lamar. Did we cover Lamar in this one? No, we covered Devonta Smith. I think it was in this one that we did Lamar. Nope, I'm just completely brain farting on when I did Lamar Jackson. We've done him recently, so you can get an idea of what trades are going for, what he's going for in trades. But would I trade Lamar for Harvey and Devonta Smith? Like, if you can't get anything better, then that could be enough for me. Bobby with a heart me. Thank you, Bobby. We've got Jack on TikTok. I've stashed Burrow on my IR. My quarterbacks are Goff and Daniel Jones. Which one should I drop? It would be Goff, but I would try to trade both of those guys. I mean, it's not going to hurt if you sit down and send out 20 trade offers that get you a better wide receiver and you send away Goff or you send away Daniel Jones. I would do that. Milan is here. Start Woody or Chase Brown. I'm still going Chase Brown over Woody. Fiery Tudor. Ooh-wee. Should I start DJ Moore, Yoshivas, Ramondre, Coker, or Tootin? I think I'm DJ Moore than Yoshivas ahead of any of the other ones. Avery, Flex, Juwan Johnson, Shakir, or Booty. I think I'm going Shakir. And Watermelon, or try to trade Shakir and Juwan Johnson. Although I don't know if you could. I think I'm going Shakir. Watermelon, pick 3, Gibbs, Monty, Ken Walker, Brees. I think Monty's the odd one out, but it's really close. Pay dirt. I have 4 quarterbacks with Burrow coming back. May, Jones, Trevor Lawrence. Who would you trade out of that group in Dynasty in a 2 quarterback super flex? That kind of just starts falling back to the default answer. Like, all of those guys have very different values. Drake May, one of the most valuable things right now. Daniel Jones could probably get you a first. Trevor Lawrence in the same range. It's the one that you can. You might be in a league where no one wants to trade you for Drake May. So then you can't move him. You just got to do the legwork and see, can you get a fair deal done for May, Jones, or Trevor Lawrence? Fiery Tudor, I have Rome. Should I still start Moore or Yoshivas? It wouldn't change anything for me. It's just kind of a mental block to think that because they're on the same team, they wouldn't score the same amount of points. Like, we're just projecting that I'm just guessing that DJ Moore scores a slightly more than Yoshivas, and whoever else is on your team wouldn't change that. Joey Joestar, would you start Rashad, Pierce, or Hunter Henry this week? I think I have Alec Pierce slightly ahead. I think it's Alec Pierce for me. Did you have Pierce and Shakir? No, you had Pierce and Pearsall. I've got Pierce slightly ahead of Pearsall. Pater, I have 2 guys that said they paid the same for Jones and Trevor Lawrence. That's what I was asking. Oh, sure. I think Jones has more upside, but on the better team. In a lot of those situations, I don't try to project the future a ton. If I can get a good move that makes sense, I'm not going to worry too much about a different move that could have gone through, for example. Like, so in plenty of those situations, if I can get a really good price on one of them, I generally do. If you wanted to, I mean, I couldn't accurately predict who has a better next year. Jones, who's not under contract, or Trevor Lawrence. Kermit, pick 2, Aaron Jones, Ken Walker, Bucky, Woody. Aaron Jones, Ken Walker, Bucky, Woody. If Bucky's going, I'm going Bucky. And then I think I have Aaron Jones slightly ahead of Woody. Jacob, trade Bucky, Ibuka, Ken Walker for Lamb, Harvey, and Henry. Derrick Henry? It seems like Derrick Henry. Yeah, I could trade Bucky Ibuka, Ken Walker for Lamb, Harvey, especially if it's Derrick Henry. Fiery Tutor, should I trade Rome for JMO now that he's getting consistent targets? No, I would just stick with Rome. Rome is also getting consistent targets. So I think like we're just hoping, it really seems like we just hope Rome JMO becomes as good as Rome, and Rome is already Rome. So I would stick with him. Pierce or Pearsall at the flex, slight edge to Pierce. Bobby, start Butte or Pierce. I've got Pierce. Gruth, trade Allen for May and a 6th rounder next year in a keeper league, but you keep one guy and I'm not keep Josh. Trade Josh Allen for May and a 6th. Yeah, I would. I probably am. Morgan, Alec Pierce, or DK Metcalf. I've got DK Metcalf ahead. We're heading into the home stretch. Oh, someone followed, but it doesn't say a name. There wasn't a name attached to that. So whoever just followed on TikTok, thank you. Some accounts have something going on where it doesn't show their name. Eleazar's here. What's up, Eleazar? Thank you for coming back. Pick one of these 3 for flex. Juwan Johnson, Emmanuel Wilson, or Kayshon Boutte. I mean, that one, we're just waiting. If Emmanuel Wilson's the starter, he would be the one. And then Juwan Johnson ahead of Boutte, who also might not be returning. Trade Breece for Tet from Reese Shock. Would I trade Breece Hall for Tet? You might be able to get more. Let's just take a look. 1-for-1 trades. How does it look? Breece Hall for Jalen Waddle. Someone got Breece Hall for Jamar Chase. I don't know how. Breece Hall for George Pickens. Breece Hall for Drake London. All within the past couple days. So I could shoot higher than Tet. Watson or Pittman from Avery. I'm going Pittman. Pittman's just been really solid. Rashee Rice for Derrick Henry from Benevac. I think that's about the crossover. If you needed a running back, you might even be able to ask and get like Ricky Pearsall tier player thrown back on with Derrick Henry. AJ Nuzzy, if I have Lamar and have Burrow on IR, should I try to trade Lamar? Nobody wants Burrow in my league. Yeah. I mean, you have time, and we'll get more information today. Here, we got news yesterday. Burrow was practicing with the ones. Joe Burrow taking snaps with starting center on Thursday. So I mean, he's back. He practiced in full Wednesday. Seems to be getting close to making his return to action. Zach Taylor wouldn't commit to declaring if their starting quarterback would be ready to return on Sunday against the Patriots. They were talking about him coming back next week. A few weeks ago, they were saying Thanksgiving week. That's next Sunday. So yeah, if no one wants to trade you for Burrow and you can make it through this week without a guy, I would be looking at what you could get for Lamar. Rob Golf's Rome or Michael Wilson this week. I'm sticking with Rome. If you're in a desperation mode and you're starting Michael Wilson, I'm probably like trading other players away to get better value. But I don't really want to chase what happened with the past couple of weeks. We've switched back to week 12. In week 10, we saw a great week from Amari DiMarcado because Arizona was heavily losing. They lost 44-22. Most teams don't lose 44-22. Most teams don't lose 44-22 or 41-22 2 weeks in a row. When we saw Michael Wilson blow up and Brissett break the completions record. Brissett's breaking the completions record because he sucks enough to get his team that far behind. So I don't know that we should expect this stuff to repeat. There are teams, if I'm 4-7 and I need to get really desperate to make the playoffs, I'll say like, hey, I'll put my hand in Jacoby Brissett's, or my season in his hands, but then I'm trading away everything else that I'm starting ahead of him for other starters. So if I have a team where I'm considering starting Jacoby Brissett, it's because I traded Dak away to get a better running back. And I'm saying like, I'll ride this as long as it lasts. to get from 10% chance of making the playoffs to 20. But most of the time, I don't want to chase this. Let's go with, we'll just leave that up. Jordan McDaniels, would I trade Olave and Trey Benson for Nico and RJ Harvey? Yeah. I think I would. Penelope Thunderscar, I'm wide receiver trouble this week. Should I start Judy, Michael Wilson, or Darnell Mooney? I have Michael Wilson the highest ranked of those. But they're all very low ranked. I've got Wilson at 32, Judy at 35. If you're in wide receiver trouble, I'll take the shot and at that point chase something like Michael Wilson, but not over guys like Odunze or other players. Pick one, Judkins or Henderson from Diego. Diego, we have also got just rankings you can check on these. I would have Henderson ahead of Judkins if there's no Ramondre, and possibly ahead in general. Marcus Benet on Twitch. You need 2 wide receivers and 2 flex. Wanting to start Jacobs over Woody, but he's still hurt. Yeah, I don't know if Jacobs is playing. You've got Higgins, Pittman, Tet, JSN, Woody, Gainwell. All right, Marcus. Higgins, Pittman, Tet. I'm starting all 3 of them, and JSN is in there. We're starting JSN. I would just start JSN, Pittman, Higgins, and Tet. Ethioman, should I start Swift or Woody Marks at the flex? I would go Swift. Taro Corsa, trade Diggs for Olave straight? Sure. I don't do a lot of that. Did someone offer that to you? Rice Shock, trade start Strange or AJ Barner. Is Strange back? Limited participant on Wednesday. He's designated to return. If they say that he's going, I could put Brenton Strange in over AJ Barner. That's about the tier that they're in. These fantasy points would include a tight end premium, so ignore the fantasy points on that column. Jason 22, Kyron Williams for Derrick Henry, and you're getting Kyron. I still like Derrick Henry a little bit more. Taro Corsa, you just need to avoid the Diggs matchup. I mean, I'm fine with taking Olave over Diggs. I like Olave over Diggs. I don't do a lot of those types of trades. But yeah, I could. French Moosey, should I start Woody Marks or Wan'Dale Robinson at flex, full PPR? I think I'm going Wan'Dale in a full PPR. We do get some good weeks from Marks, like 16, 15, 12. But the 2 and the 6 and the 2 and 4, I know 4 is when he's a rookie. So even if we just say after the bye, like we're still getting 2s and 6s where I would trust Wan'Dale over that. Ashton, start 2, Michael Wilson, Flowers, Alec Pierce. I would go Flowers and Pierce. I'll go Flowers and Pierce. CF Ryder, Pearsall, or Tet. I've got Tet ranked higher. We do have ranks, guys. So when we wrap this up, if you want to get your question answered and it's just which wide receiver should I start, we have that. It's right here. It's right here. It's the same thing. It's the same person, same chair, same room, same thoughts. We just go through them game by game and give more context to why we would start specific players. Josh, for the rest of the season, would I rather have Derrick Henry or Trevion Henderson? A lot of the times, Derrick Henry. If I'm a desperate team and I can still trade, like if I'm 4-7, I would trade Henry for Henderson and more and take the bet. But that's just kind of a desperation move, saying like, if he hits, he can be a league winner and he can turn my season around. And if he misses, oh no, I came in last place instead of 9th. Like that, I don't really care about that. So I would take a risky move like that for a rest of season move, but I would need something else on top. Marks or Swift in week 12? I'm going Swift, J-Ted. Here's Woody Marks' numbers, like 12s, 15s, 2s, 16s. I think Swifts are just typically better. 25, 20, 15, 14, no 2s. I would go Swift most weeks. Should I hold Algier or gamble on Jayden Reed? I think if you have Bijan, I'm probably just holding the handcuff. Like, I don't know that Jayden Reed comes up and ever becomes startable, and I might just stick with the handcuff there. Mahomes or Burrow if he plays from Johnny? I don't know. Probably Mahomes against the Colts over Burrow versus the Patriots, but it would be close. And I hadn't thought about it. Pearsall for Harvey from Mason? Sure. Mason with the follow? Thank you. We are at 157. The final 3 minutes. We stop at 2. Josh has asked Genty and Michael Wilson for Stafford and Henderson. Why are we trading? What are we doing with Stafford, Josh? We're trading for, I think on that one, the Stafford is throwing me off. Mason, I said the trade's fine. I could take Harvey there. For Josh, Genty and Michael Wilson. So like Genty for Stafford and Henderson. I guess so. Are we starting Stafford? Do we have another QB, Josh? That's one of the questions, Josh. We're like, yeah, the value's fine. There's definitely teams where I want the Stafford side, but there's definitely teams where I don't want the Stafford side. On TikTok or on Twitch, Milan, Woody, or Chase Brown. PPR, I'm still going Chase Brown. Aiden, trade Pickens and Marv for Jamar if I've already made the playoffs. Yeah. Yep. Let's just get Jamar over Pickens. Should I drop Goff for Burrow from Lion? I think you can. Senor Miggs, would I trade away Rice and Mark Andrews for Tyler Warren, Woody Marks, and Nico? Shoot. Possibly. Yeah. Yeah. I think in that situation, I could take the 3. I don't know who else you're dropping. But if you've been starting Mark Andrews, I would rather have Tyler Warren. Thank you for typing the T for Tyler. And then Nico for Rice. That's pretty close. And the difference between Andrews and Warren makes up for it. And then you can do something with Woody, like go trade Woody away. Ooh, Yale? Yale? Yael? I don't know how to say it, and it's really cool. Trade Higgins for London if I'm already in the playoffs. Not as much. If I was doing something like that, I would just try to add something to Higgins and get Jamar Chase. Like a player that's missing this week, but is for sure coming back and will be as good as they were before. I don't know that if that's true for Drake London. And we also have a video on the trade value of Drake London on YouTube here. So we did that one this morning with more in-depth Drake London thoughts for the people who are looking for what to do with him. May or Mahomes from Ivan. I have Drake May ahead this week playing the Bengals. Just a really easy team to pass on. But if you have both of those guys, Ivan, ship one away. Get something for May or Mahomes so that you don't have all of that value on your bench. I would rather find a way to get that value into the starting lineup. Jason Ortiz says Joe Burrow is back. Is he? A lot of the time when people say that, it's not always true. Joe Burrow taking snaps. The most recent thing that I see is from an hour ago from Jason. I need to drop Daniel Jones or Dak for a wide receiver this week. I was aiming Dak. Like, you can't be dropping Daniel Jones or Dak. I mean, I guess if you're dropping one, you're dropping Daniel Jones, but really you should be finding some sort of trade. Should I drop Daniel Jones, Corum, B-Rob, or Algier? No, you should drop like Corum before dropping Daniel Jones and make some sort of trade. I have Drake London, but in win now mode, who should I be looking to trade him for? We did the Drake London video today. Seabass, McBride, CD, Barkley. All right, we're going to go Seabass, Jason, and Cheeseballs, and that'll be the final ones. Seabass, McBride, CD, Barkley for JSN and Dowdle. No, that's too much. That's too much to give up. I want McBride, CD, and Barkley there. Jason Ortiz took first team reps today, aka means he's back. He took first team reps yesterday. I typically just wait and see. Cheeseballs, what's up? New sub here. Thank you, Cheeseballs. I need some advice. Should I play Woody today or Genty on Sunday in full PPR? I have Genty at 19 and Woody much further down. If you wanted to do it, I don't think it's crazy. Like, there's definite risks with starting Genty against the Browns. It's one of the toughest run defenses. So if you went that way, I wouldn't think you're crazy. But I don't know that I particularly would. But I wouldn't tell you not to. And it's kind of close enough. Like, I co-manage a team. And if my co-manager said, I want to start Woody Marks and sit Genty, I would say, okay. But if it was mine, I would not. Serg says, is he on Twitch or TikTok? We're on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. We also have our fantasy football Discord where we're wrapping stuff up. But first thing, because we're wrapping stuff up, if you have a question and it didn't get answered, like Bryson saying, please, bro, you can check our ranks. We have our ranks for this week. It's just me in the same chair. This shoe is different because I wore the one that's in the video, but it's recorded about a day ago. It's all the same thoughts. So if you have a start sit question, it's answered in here. You can get that answer. We also have our fantasy football Discord. If you are watching on TikTok, it's on your screen. You just gaze right through the chat. It says Discord, and then it has a link, tinyurl.com/boom Discord, where we have start sit channels. We have ad drop channels. We have channels where you can ask for trade help. You can check that out in there in the Discord. And then a lot of trade values on YouTube as well. We've been posting, we do our TikTok videos. You may have seen them. They look like this. We've been posting longer form ones with more trades, more discussion about each player on YouTube. We do those daily. And if you have specific requests, put them on the video comments. With all that said, we are out of here. Thank you guys for being here. We have some Twitch subs today. Like Bino, thank you for the sub today. We had gifters today from Rob D, Texas Tejano, Nate, Jariah, Bobby, Nathan with first time gifting on roses, Ben Hofer. Thank you guys. And thank you just for being here and watching. We're wrapping stuff up. We will be back tomorrow. Johnny says, just want to say thank you for the grind. Hey, thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. I still have a hard time believing anyone would want to look at this or watch it. So thank you for saying it. And we will wrap stuff up. Here's how you end a TikTok stream. So we click this and they go away. Take care. And then we click somewhere else, usually down here, and everyone else goes away. Thank you.